best Quad City sports talk radio show in the world. With the face who runs the place, T-Roy, the OG on the marquee, J-Bird, and the cat who runs the chat with the stats, Statman Surge. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're not a Quad City sports talk radio show. We're not the Quad City sports talk radio show. We are your Quad City sports talk radio show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn.
So you say it's your birthday.
Oh, yeah,
it's Jay's birthday, too. Happy birthday to my little buddy.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
It's a beautiful January 26th.
Look how red he got.
This day in 1976.
Bicentennial, baby. I'm not.
This beautiful little fella came into existence.
The year Rocky came out. Wow.
Yeah, this is.
Hence, he's a huge Rocky guy.
Wow.
Wasn't your dad going to name you Rocky?
No, I wish. I think. Well, I don't know. What things have been different for me, I have no idea.
I don't think so.
Usually, just call
you
him
have a name
smartass.
like that. Kind of like. I think daily, like you're reminded, like I better do something with myself today. If you're named Rocky. But hey, yeah, I was born today, 45 years ago, and they named me Jason. Originally, I was going to be named Gabriel.
That's a good name. I like that.
It had something to do
You're
with
a
this
J.
television show. There was a race and Jason. Well, the J thing didn't start till I was 5.
Yeah.
I had a grandfather in Chicago. He called me Jaybird, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. And I think like my dad did, but really, Jason, really the story is I was about 5 years old, and where Burlington Coat Factory is now, there used to be a Target, and then there was a Joe Vans
Food.
Yeah.
I remember it.
And I got lost in there, and it wasn't a big store. I mean, no bigger than Fairway now, right? And then I got lost in there, and there was another woman there who, I guess, lost her son as well, and she was calling out Jason, and I tugged the woman's, like, skirt. I remember it, and turned around. It wasn't my mom, and I lost my mind and sat down Indian style and cried in the aisle till my mom found me, and I said I got lost, and this woman was calling my name, but it wasn't you, and she said... My mom said, well, there's a lot of Jasons, because it was a popular name in the 70s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Jasons, and from that day forward, I was like, well, I'm not a Jason anymore, because I don't want that to happen again.
I never knew your name was Jason.
Yeah, so
I didn't
Jay.
either.
Yep.
Learn
Now,
something new every day.
Here's something else you didn't know. He had an other brother that they kind of disowned, and his name was Robert, and he was born mute. No, he was born mute. And so later, he took that inspiration and he wrote the screenplay for Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, that's it. The other crazy thing is that Jimmy Siokas is in studio with us, and I'm glad to have him back. The other thing is I have an older brother, and it's Chip, but that's not his given name either. So my parents failed twice at naming the kids. We just decided that we're just going to call ourselves something else. Like,
What is Chip's real name?
that's not for me to divulge. If he wants to know it, he wants to share it with you. That's for you.
I don't want to come in here railroad and everything. We'll get to it later, but here's a good question for you. If you could magically change your first name to anything and nobody would know the difference and you could have any first name, what would you change it to? That's a round the table type of question.
I don't know, I feel like
Do you
I
have
want
a
it to be-
favorite
I want it
name
to
that
be
you
Rocky.
always wanted?
Wolfgang.
Oh, I like it.
I feel like maybe that Rocky would have been good now that bring it up, but I don't know. I actually feel like Jay. I feel like
You're a
I've
Jay.
renamed myself just fine.
I want to be called Wolfie.
You know what I would go with?
Huh.
Han Solo.
Han Solo
No,
Siokas.
I like Jimmy. Just like you. You grew up with a name.
Yeah.
If I had to change it, I'm being serious, right? I'd go with Joe or John because I like that. Able to put the E on the end. Joey, Johnny, Jimmy.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Yep.
a ball player.
Yeah,
And I just
Wolfie.
Wolfie. All right.
Come here, Wolfie.
Yeah, like my parents have always called me Coralie. Like, how stupid is that? It does not roll off the tongue.
Coralie.
Coralie.
Coralie Warralie.
Oh no.
How dumb is that?
Well,
It was
how you
real.
think
It
It was,
rhymes at least.
it was real simple with my daughter Sophia. We knew it was going to be that way. The only thing is we didn't do the P and the H. Tiffany, her name is Tifani, not with like the 2 F's or not with the Y. So when we did Sophia, we just left the 1 F on there. So that's Sophia. That was fine. And I've told the story why her middle name is Rose. We didn't know what we were having either time. So the second child, it was going to be Sylvia if it was a girl. So we would have had Sophia and we would have had Sylvia. The boy thing was the one that we went through. Sophie originally was, if it was a boy, I wanted to name her Luke.
Oh, I like Luke.
Yeah.
Skywalker.
I thought you told me Thor.
No. We're gonna get into Marvel later. And then I think at one point, if it was a boy, she would have been named like Harris. Also.
Interesting.
Then Ben came through, and he's just Ben. All right, so he was going to be. Remember the E part that you're going to? Originally, it was going to be Ben E. Foster.
You mean the middle name?
Yeah, it would be just initial Benny, because Benny sounds like a guy who'll give you a ride.
Right.
Benny sounds like a guy.
Benny
you
and
need
the Jets.
you need something that you need. Yeah, you got to rely on someone who's going to answer the phone call. Benny's going to answer the phone call.
He's the guy that gets
Yeah.
you what you need in prison.
Yeah, exactly.
Benny,
Yeah. Hey Benny, what's the temperature out? Like boom, right away. He's like, it's 21 degrees. Like it rolls up. So like, why wouldn't you know that? Benny knows everything. So and then I remember where I was when Tiffany called me and we were talking about it, and I was like, it's Ben. She's like, so what's his middle name? I'm like, it's E. She's like, his middle name's not going to be an initial. I was like, it's going to be an initial. And then she said, how about Easton? And I was like, not going to argue this. She tells the story differently where she's like, I knew what I was doing. But I was like, I'm not going to argue this. And I'm like, where does Easton come from? Because Easton makes bats.
Yeah.
Baseball bats. She's like, well, there's this country singer. And I was like, oh, yeah. That's what like made it seem like it was, yeah. I'm like, oh, totally. I'm like, that's a great idea. I really like Easton.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite part about it is from there. Because you grow up and you get like nicknames, right?
Sure.
I wanted to give all my kids nicknames ahead of time.
If you
like,
grow up the right way, you have a nickname.
yeah, if you grew up the right way. But I was like, I'm taking them all, and I'm going to right away give nicknames to my kids so that way I own the copyrights.
And so they don't get a bad one, too.
Yeah.
I own
So
the
that's where, and
copyrights.
the thing is like, I was like, all right, the genes aren't the strongest, this and that. We've already planned redshirted him, but I was like, wouldn't it be funny because it's Ben, Easton, Foster, and we'll just throw in a lowercase e, and that's why we start calling him Beef. But I thought, I was like, if he's a 106-pound wrestler and people are out there saying like, Beef Foster, go get him, Beef. I think that's funny. But he's like actually going to be like,
It's like calling.
probably like a 152-pounder.
You remember Scott Lange, Scooter?
Yeah.
Well, he was called Scooter because he was the slowest guy on every team he played on. So there's a,
Yeah.
calling a fat guy slim.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I had 3 children. Any kids over there? I forget.
He's got Hazel.
One.
But no boys, right?
No, sir.
All right, Jay, you and I can agree that when you, as growing up as an athlete, when you have a son and it's time to name your son,
Yeah.
one of the things you go through your mind is how will it sound coming off the announcing speakers in the stadium?
100%.
Yes. So I had 2 sons, and the name that I really wanted to push for it, and my ex-wife would have nothing to do with it, Elvis.
Elvis.
Now batting, Elvis Siokas.
That's legit.
Just it comes
Yeah.
off the tongue, Elvis Siokas.
So I wanted to, the first name have 1 syllable because the second name had 2 syllables. So I way overthought this too. So I was like, it looks good on I was like, okay, I would imagine on a wrestling bracket. Does Ben Foster look good on a wrestling bracket? Does that come out good? Like now on Mat 2, wrestling at whatever, Ben Foster.
Not as
Like,
good as Benny.
Yeah, it would be Beef, if anything.
Okay.
But I don't really think the announcers at state tournament wants to be saying Beef over the thing. So
You should say beef.
yeah, I don't know. And so
'Cause he wouldn't be a heavyweight, you're saying, for sure.
he's not going to be a heavyweight.
No.
But I don't know. He's not. This whole year's been tough on him on sports. He wanted to get into wrestling, but he's like, there's no drive for it. So I'm like, you know what? If you want to take a gap year, if you don't want to go back, that's fine. But luckily, I ran into a friend of the show, Tyson Blazer, at Fielder's Choice in Milan, and I was talking to him. I was like, hey, I got to get Beef into some lessons. He's got to be doing something. He's not doing wrestling. He's like, yeah, give me a call. So Ben will be doing some hitting lessons here soon, getting after it. So the baseball season's right around the corner.
But you said something about 1 syllable, 2 syllables. Now, is that something you like in a name?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Because you grew up Jay Foster, 1
Yeah.
syllable, 2 syllables.
Yeah,
So,
majority of my friends are that way, though, too.
but I think one of the greatest names in sports history, and if you look at it, it's the most beautiful name ever. You ready for this?
Bryce Harper.
Mickey Mantle. It
Good
has 6 letters, first name, 6 letters, second name. It has alliteration. It has 2 syllables, first name, 2 syllables. It's completely balanced. Mickey.
Is his birth name
Mantle.
Mickey, though?
Dude.
You'd make it sound like...
No,
they
everybody
did it on
knows him as
purpose.
Mickey Mantle. Okay, then go with Pete Rose. 4 letters, 4 letters. 1 syllable, 1 syllable. These are balanced names. If you're out there in Radio Land, call us up if you have a better one. Pete Rose or Mickey Mantle. You need the same
Hazel
amount.
Gutnick. Perfect. Done.
Oh gosh.
Beautiful.
Is there a better... What's
You need the same amount of letters and you need the same amount of syllables in the first and
Same
last
syllables.
name. What
I
can you
got
come
same
up with?
syllables.
Pete Rose, Mickey Mantle, mic drop.
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout. No.
Well, Mike has 4 letters. Trout has 5.
I know. What? But is that's... is it Peter Rose, though? That's not his birth name, though.
Yeah, but you can. Everybody knows him.
Yeah, it's Pete Rose.
Just like everybody's gonna know your son is Beef Foster.
Nomar Garcia Parra.
That's a great name.
It is a great name.
And you know the reason he was called Nomar, right?
His dad's name was Ramon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, I wish now I should have named Beef Nomar.
Well, how do you say Jay backwards?
Adge.
Adge Foster.
Anyway, yeah. So,
your
oddly enough, as of 5 minutes ago, I really turned
Yeah.
45 as of 5 minutes ago. I was born at 12:05 in the afternoon.
That's a makeup brand, actually.
The other thing is this:
LaRoque.
35 years ago,
Yeah.
something else happened.
What?
The Bears won the Super Bowl.
They did win the Super Bowl. Thank you so much, T-Roy, for bringing that up.
Was that today?
It was, January 26, 1986.
Wow, the Super Bowl.
46-10. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Super Bowl
on
show?
your birthday?
Yeah, I know. And there's one we have to talk about a little bit, but I
Kobe?
don't understand why anyone wants to be depressed.
I know.
have
Oh,
friends.
And then
yeah,
another
that
one,
happened today,
Jay,
didn't
another
it?
bad thing. That wrestler got shot.
Oh, it did
By the
happen.
DuPont
Yeah. Oh, Dave Schultz. Yes,
Yeah.
it did happen on my birthday. And the Packers won the Super Bowl on my 21st birthday, so that's another bad thing that happened.
Was that the one Favre
In
won?
1997, yeah. They beat the Patriots as well.
Beef Wellington Foster.
No.
That would have been great.
But so,
So
yeah.
the Bears won the Super Bowl.
On my
Sure,
10th
like
birthday. It's
Vladimir.
do you know what that's like to peak? That's going to be your best birthday for the rest of your life.
Vlad the Impaler.
Are you a Bears fan?
I was.
All right,
And then the next year they didn't repeat, and I lost my mind, like legit meltdown. And I was like, I can't. I was 11. Well, I'm 10, turning 11, close to that time. And I was like, I can't live like this. Like, I lost my mind, and I was like, I can't. So I've been a fan of the NFL, but I've never been that into a team ever again, like an NFL team,
guess what?
because I still know all the words of Super Bowl Shuffle.
That's a great song.
Yeah, it
and
is.
Jim McMahon was a cool dude.
Yeah,
Jim
he's the
McMahon
punky
was,
QB. Yeah.
He was Han Solo in the NFL. If you were to be asked, what is the greatest sports city in America, what would you say? I think most people would say New York.
Right now it's Tampa.
This year it's Tampa.
Well, not this year.
Yeah, I
just
know,
Period.
but-
That's the greatest sports city in America. And the reason I bring that up is I looked this up a few days ago. New York has a total of 61 sports championships. Now, that's taken into consideration baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and even soccer.
We have two basketball teams, two football teams,
so
two
hear me
baseball
out.
teams.
Boston is number 2 with 40 total sports championships. And Chicago is number 3 with 33. Okay? Now, if you gave every single city the right to eliminate one sports team from each city, obviously Boston and Chicago is going to eliminate the Yankees from New York. And if the other two cities are smart, they're going to take the Celtics out of Boston because they've won the most for there. And you're going to take the Bears out of Chicago because they've won 8 altogether. 8 championships.
Okay.
All of a sudden, Chicago becomes the greatest sports city in the country as far as total sports championships, because the Yankees hold over a third of New York sports championships.
That's an interesting point that you get to do that. So where else is in this? Where else would be in the top 10? Because also
Los Angeles has like 17 sports
yeah,
championships.
where's St. Louis at?
St. Louis is all they have is the St. Louis Cardinals. The Rams won it in '99.
Yeah.
The Cardinals have won
The
what,
Blues, they
11?
didn't win one?
No, the
Blues.
Cardinals won 11 or 12.
Blues just won one.
Yeah.
So
I'm
St.
sorry.
Louis is probably 5, but behind.
But
Lo-
when you
Los
say
Angeles.
sports city, though, if you go by championships, you're going by championships. I understand that, but also, I mean, the fan base and the knowledge of the fans. Like, you can have like fans that are just dumb as a box of rocks, and you're like, I can't do this. I can't have this conversation. Now, don't get me wrong. There are times where they can be annoying, but I do think the Cardinals have a very good fan base.
One of the best ever.
I
They
think they're
do.
knowledgeable, and I think even 2016 they were like, good for majority. I'm like, good for the Cubs. Like I'm happy for them. Like. Where I probably wouldn't be that way if I was an opposite type of fan, but
That's another question. Which city has the best fans?
that's so weird because
Kansas City.
why? Why?
Their fans. I've been to hundreds of Royals and Chiefs games, and I've never seen. I mean, you can wear a Raiders or a Yankees jersey to a game, and nobody's going to give you a hard time. Everybody there wants to eat barbecue, and usually we have losing teams, so you're there to enjoy the weather. The weather's great in Kansas City, even if it's May or late September.
But the thing
That's
is,
just my opinion.
Well, of course, you've been to, and like I said, I've been to multiple T-Wolves, Twins games, never been to a Vikings game. I would say the same thing, that they don't care, but also I get upset because in Minnesota, everyone's 15 minutes late for the either the tip-off or first pitch. It drives me crazy. So I'm not going to give them that. So
Minnesota's a good sports town.
At least Browns fans are loyal.
yeah, that's true.
It's almost like a self-mutilating, sadistic fandom in Cleveland. They almost like that.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Is that your team, the Cleveland Browns?
No.
No?
It's my stepdad's team.
Well, I think they're going to. You think the Browns will win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years?
I think they might make it to, like, I don't know, like a championship game.
You think they'll make it to a championship game?
Yeah. In the next
What's
5.
the one name you never mentioned in Cleveland?
LeBron.
Eric Bynum?
John Elway.
No, John Elway. But
Yes.
didn't he fumble? Didn't Bynum fumble or whatever else until he did the drive to set up the drive?
But it's Elway who. I mean, wasn't it was it back-to-back seasons? No, but twice in the '80s, the Browns did make it to the championship game, and they lost to the Broncos both times.
Just when we're talking about
Jeez.
fandom, and you brought up Tampa Bay. My friend Adam Stark just sent this to me. A 4-month-old has witnessed Tampa's NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA teams reach as many finals as a 39-year-old fan of Minnesota's NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL team.
It's been a great year for Tampa Bay.
It's terrible.
Here's a question for you: Can you name the only city that's won 3 major sports championships in one calendar year? There's been cities where they've gone. In 1980,
Hold on. You just don't give the answer up
no,
right
but I
away.
want to clear one thing up. In 1980, the Philadelphia Flyers, Eagles, Raiders, and Phillies all went to their championships games. Only the Phillies won. But there's only one city in the history of the United States professional highest level sports that brought home 3 titles in 1 year.
Okay, so in '88, the Dodgers did it and the Lakers did it.
Yep, that's 2. And this year already the Lakers and Dodgers have done it. But the Rams are out, so you don't get that privilege this year.
So it was 3 though. It's a city that won 3, right?
3 titles, and that can include hockey. Okay, that's kind of the key right there.
And it can include hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So Celtic 2008,
Close.
Red Sox, Celtics.
And the Patriots lost to the Giants on that last. They almost
Okay,
did it.
so they didn't
almost
get it,
did
okay.
That last pass by Eli Manning, the bubble gum on the helmet pass.
So that doesn't make it.
I don't think you'll get it. You want me to throw it out there?
T-Ray.
What? I was distracted. Sorry. What's the guess? What's the guess?
Want me to tell you?
No,
Yeah,
no.
go
What's
ahead.
the question?
Yeah.
1935 Detroit.
Oh,
The Tigers won it. The Lions won it.
I
and the
didn't
Red
even know
Wings
the
won
question.
Well, we wouldn't have known it anyway.
It. That's the only time in our history that one city has had 3 championships in one calendar year.
And they've never done anything since, except for they're in a song that Journey talks about. So when we come back, I want to talk more about the football game that's going on. Kind of still pick your guys' brains because I really like having you guys here because when I was thinking about it, I'm like, I'm going to just throw out a question or even a fact and then a stat. And then from there, you guys name the other 9 teams. And on top of it, we'll talk more about Super Bowl. If you guys want to, we can talk about the Super Bowl Shuffle. We can break down the lyrics if you would want to. I mean, it's up to you guys. But it's not something I want to do.
It's your day, Jay.
No, anyway.
It's your birthday.
We do need to talk about Baseball Hall of Fame voting, and the results are going to be announced tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But we do need to take our first break of the hour here on ESPN 1170 AM. Jimmy Siokas is in studio with us. Coralie, will you read something for me? No, I don't get.
Coralie,
Yeah.
quit going on social media. Stop it right now.
Okay.
You don't need to ask where you're going to get a tattoo tomorrow, all right?
Well, then what do I do?
Well, you go to Locals Love Us.
Where's that?
It's localslovis.com. You click on Quad Cities and browse your favorites. It's easy to use, and they're even ranking all the popular places for you.
Even you can do it?
Even I can do it.
Wow.
Even you can do it.
Wow.
Even
That's saying
Jimmy can
something.
do it. All of us in the house can do it.
Wow.
That's Locals Love Us, your guide to the best. This thing's got me
We're
really
streaking! We're going up through the quad to the gymnasium. There's more coming.
Frank, get in the car.
Everybody's doing it.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're
Snow
Local.
is here, and River Valley Turf sells all the top brands in the business. They now have both new and used machines in stock and ready for immediate delivery, like John Deere tractors with blades and blowers, or choose from new or used Ariens, Toro, and Honda walk-behind blowers at unbelievably low prices. Need a bigger unit? Try any compact tractor with loader or a utility vehicle with a blade. River Valley Turf has it all. Stop by and see them before they're gone. River Valley Turf in Silvis and Davenport and rivervalleyturf.com.
I'm Ari Wolf with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. With Super Bowl 55 now set, the preparations have begun. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid says he's already started watching Buccaneers game film, and he believes Tom Brady is playing better than ever.
He's playing at an extremely high level, and for somebody his age, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable for a 25-year-old to be doing what he's doing, let alone a 43-year-old.
Reid also confirmed that starting left tackle Eric Fisher will miss the Super Bowl after tearing his Achilles in the AFC title game. In the meantime, in Tampa, Bucs head coach Bruce Arians said Monday he likes where his team is at mentally.
And when you get committed to a cause, and our cause is to put rings on our fingers, you do everything you can to reach that goal.
In other news, the Texans have scheduled a second interview Tuesday with Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier for their head coaching position. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Guys over 40, listen up. Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC, is offering a complimentary bottle to all men in America. Here's legendary pro baseball player Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt.
When I hit 40, I started feeling sluggish. I had less drive. It was harder to stay in shape. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. So I got back into the game with Nugenix. With Nugenix, I feel like I'm still in my prime. There's a reason Nugenix has been the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC for years. It works. If you want to get back in the game and get your edge back, you need Nugenix. You can get a complimentary bottle. All you have to do is send them a text. And guys, take it from me. She'll like it too.
Text YOUTH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. But Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text YOUTH to 42424 right now. Text YOUTH to 42424. That's YOUTH to 42424.
If you own a small business, you know how hard it can be to find new customers. But maybe you're unaware of new tools that can help your business stand out. Go to GetLocalCustomersNow.com for a free market competitive analysis that will show you what other businesses are doing to find new customers and how you can do it too. There's no cost and no obligation. Be one of the first business owners to sign up and receive $500 in free advertising on this station. Get started today. Visit GetLocalCustomersNow.com. That's GetLocalCustomersNow.com.
It's time to rise and grind. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin.
What do I do with the #1 overall pick? I know the New York Jets are sitting there at #2. Everyone seems to think that Joe Douglas says that he's going to go lock and step with whoever he hires as the head coach to make a decision on Sam Darnold's future. But let's assume that that person moves on from Sam Darnold or want to move on from Sam Darnold. I'm Urban Meyer, and I like Justin Fields because I helped recruit him, I know him, and I'm sitting at the #1 spot. And the Jets are at 2. What I would do is pick up the phone to the Jets and say, hey, we're interested in Trevor Lawrence, but we hear you are too. You want to trade it and move one spot up? I tell you what, give me everything that you got in the first round this year, and I'll let you jump in front of me and take that spot to get Trevor Lawrence, because I really want Justin Fields without you really knowing that.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Get the most earned income credit with AmeriFile. Don't do your own taxes this year. With COVID relief, tax refunds could be at record levels. It's incredible. AmeriFile's tax preparers will compare last year's income with this year's income and select the one that gets you the most earned income credit. Repeat, AmeriFile gets you the most earned income credit guaranteed. Call AmeriFile 762-8087. Don't do your own taxes. This is not a normal tax year. AmeriFile. With the CARES Act, stimulus recovery credit, and new earned income tax calculation, you'll get the most refund with AmeriFile. Switch from doing your own taxes with TurboTax, and AmeriFile prepares your federal and state taxes for only $45 to $89. Drop off your tax stuff at AmeriFile's drive-through windows in both Moline and Davenport for contactless tax prep. Call 762-8087 or AmeriFile.com. TurboTax is a registered trademark, and pricing may not include non-common forms such as Schedule C, E, and F. See AmeriFile.com for details.
Weekend family time is done for another year. Football is back. Hear and talk about all the games right here on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Hey, we're back. It's Jay's birthday still. He's not being mean at all.
Not at all.
This is Don't Hassle Us. We're local on AM 1170.
So Jimmy is in studio with us.
Seokas.
Snow day.
That's right. Yeah, snow day.
Snow day, Seokas.
That's great. So, yeah, students' loss is our gain.
Snow
Obviously.
day Seokas sounds pretty cool. Snow day Daryl Strawberry does not.
No, it does not. Not at all. All right.
Although he loves snow.
Yeah.
Jimmy is a Kansas City Chiefs fan. He likes Kansas City sports in general. And the Kansas City Chiefs have the opportunity to become the 10th back-to-back Super Bowl winners, right?
Nobody's ever done 3.
Can you name the other 9? And
Sure.
slow down. Don't just blurt them out. That's why I said when I had you guys on, I thought for sure you guys could do this because listen, I've got a dumb.
last week.
I've got a dumb. No, we didn't do it. I've got a dumb memory, but these are not things I remember.
Well,
But you put the stuff. Is it you put baseball on the wall in your class?
Baseball, football, and basketball.
So you should know
I
this.
can tell you every
So
year.
the best one is the last one was the Patriots.
Can we go from the beginning?
Well, I was going to go backwards.
Okay.
So the Patriots and
the Pat
Broncos.
It was 03 and 04.
Okay, I'm just going to tell you the name. The Patriots,
the
Broncos,
97, 98.
the Dallas Cowboys.
Wait, hold on a second. It was the '98 Super Bowl, but '97 season, right? Okay.
You are labeled the 97 champion when you win the Super Bowl in January of 98.
I
okay?
get,
You're
I get
the 97,
that.
98
I understand
champs.
that, but you have to understand.
Pats,
I don't look at it.
Broncos.
I don't call them the '85 Bears. I
Let's
call them the
keep
'86.
going.
They won on my birthday. Anyway,
Come on, bring it on.
The Pats, Broncos, and then it goes
Pats, Broncos.
Then it goes
Cowboys,
93,
94,
93, 94. There you go.
49ers.
88, 89.
And then
How many is that? 4?
Yeah, that's 4.
Okay.
And then it goes back to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
78, 79.
Yep.
And then the Pittsburgh Steelers.
74, 75.
Cheated
and
somehow.
then the
Undefeated team, think about it.
Oh yeah, and then the
Dolphins,
Miami
72,
Dolphins,
73.
Yep.
And then the Green Bay Packers.
66, 67.
8.
No, I thought there's 9.
Let's think here really quick. Are we missing
Well,
one
there
here?
are 9. They could
Oh,
be
I thought
the
they were
9th.
going to be the 10th.
Are they going to be the 10th or are they going to be the 9th?
Well, they can't be because we just went through everything, and you're right, T-Roy.
Yeah, it's 8. Yeah, there's only you're right.
They will be
I'm
the
one
9th.
that's yeah. Oh yeah, 'cause yep, you're right. Yeah, they'll be the 9th.
We're
Yep.
thinking of bigger, better things in Kansas City. We know that there's never been a three-peat champion. Now, I have a buddy who's a big Cowboys fan, and he is irate because he says the Dallas Cowboys should have not only been 3-time but 4-time champions because they won it in 95 against the Steelers. But it was that championship game in 1994 against the 49ers where Michael Irvin, was it Deion Sanders that
Deion was a 49er there.
Yes, and there was a play that was a complete pass interference, and they did not call it on Sanders, and it cost the Cowboys the game, and obviously the 49ers smoked the Chargers, which the Cowboys would have. So you would have had a 4-peat champion with the Cowboys if it wasn't for that referee
for
call.
Jerry Jones getting rid of Jimmy Johnson, there would have probably been a 5-peat. But that,
Bears would have gone back to back if they didn't. It wasn't that bad hit on McMahon that. He got drilled into the ground. Now it would have been a flag or whatever else. So we can.
Jimmy Johnson built that team, and Jerry Jones screwed it up. Period. It's been screwed ever since.
Look, I like how you get upset there because now you're like you would have been a 5-peat. Now you're just getting like,
dude, it would have been. They were so good. Jimmy Johnson was so good at coaching that team. They would have been.
You don't even know his friend, but right now you want to hug his friend because you're like, yes, he's
so
right.
He is so right.
Well, I have really embarrassing news here.
Okay.
I was a big Cowboys fan growing up.
That doesn't shock me.
And
don't be embarrassed.
You know when I stopped being a Cowboys fan?
Because Jimmy Johnson got fired?
No, when Tom Landry got fired in 1989.
Yeah.
It doesn't shock me. You're at that age group.
Yep.
When I met T-Roy and he was like, I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm like, okay. And I gave him, I'm like, you have to be this old right now. And he's like, how do you know that? And I was like, for some reason, everyone that was 2, 3, 4, 5 years older than me loved the Cowboys growing up because they was always on TV.
A lot of people I grew up with were either Cowboy fan or Steeler fans for
and
a
then
long
for
time.
some reason,
and then there was Bear fans and Vikings fans.
For some
there
reason,
weren't a lot of Packer fans.
Everybody who's 2, 3, 4, 5 years younger than me are all like Denver Broncos or Miami fans for Elway and Marino.
Let me tell you why I became a Cowboys fan.
Okay.
Huge Star Wars fan. 1977, it comes out. My dad takes me to see it 7 times in the theaters. I fell in love with it. Han Solo was my favorite character. A year later, in 1978, a television show called Battlestar Galactica came out. It was a ripoff, but it was good.
Yeah.
No, that was Buck Rogers.
Oh, yeah, it was Buck Rogers. Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica, the Han Solo character, that was Starbuck.
Yeah.
He was the Han. He was the cool guy, played cards, good pilot. So I fell in love with Starbuck, just like I did.
He was also face on A-Team.
Yes.
I fell in love with Starbucks.
Well, the coffee.
They stole the name.
I love it.
They stole the name from Battlestar Galactica.
So because of Star Wars, I fell in love with Battlestar Galactica, which I loved Starbuck. I was watching a football game one of those Sundays, and I think it was Howard Cosell says, Starbuck falls back into the pocket. And I thought, this is the guy from Battlestar Galactica. He's playing football, too. I was 7 years old at the time, but that's why I became a Dallas Cowboys fan for over a decade, because of Starbuck. Roger Dodger Starbuck. You like apples, Jay?
Yeah.
I do like them apples, too. Now, mine has to do with Roger Staubach as well. So we used to go out to my grandpa's house every Sunday, like clockwork, 'cause my dad worked. And Grandpa was a Navy guy from World War II.
Sure.
And guess who he loved?
Roger Staubach.
That's right. So.
Yep. What a great man.
That's a good story.
I wish that was my last name.
A lot of people out there don't know that he was...
He was the original Captain America.
Yes, he was. He won the Heisman.
Yes.
He had to go serve in Vietnam before he could go play in the NFL.
Yep.
Which probably cost him, what, a year or two of his prime
at
years?
least, yeah.
Yep, and he could throw, he could run, he could do it all.
Yep. And if he could have played in today's rules,
listen.
good Lord.
Oh my gosh, you're right. You're
Good
absolutely right.
Lord.
So out of all these back-to-backs,
think about guys like him, Bradshaw, that were played in the 70s when there was. I mean, the things were just. It was murderer's row. I mean, I saw footage of that Minnesota receiver just getting his head taken off by the Oakland Raider in the Super Bowl. It's just insane. And think about Dan Marino.
If you took the quarterbacks nowadays, it'd be funny. It'd be amazing. Here's another funny episode. You take the defensive players like Deacon Jones and Art Donovan, and you bring them up to play in today's game. I mean, these guys were used to ripping people's heads off and having no whistle blown.
Yeah.
And to let them play one game in 2021 and watch them freak out.
Yeah, I still remember the Doomsday defense. You know, Ed Too-Tall Jones, Randy White, Harvey Martin.
What was the nickname for the Vikings defense?
The Purple People Eaters.
Purple People Eaters. And then you had the Iron Curtain. Was that the Steelers?
The Steel Curtain.
Yeah. Steel Curtain, that's right.
All right. So out of these two-time winners, who's the best? Who's the GOAT out of the team?
Are we?
Yeah, power rank them.
Are we expecting that the Chiefs beat
no,
the Super Bowl?
We're not going to say that because I don't know if the Chiefs are going to beat them.
I mean, if Bomber was here, she'd 100% be saying that.
But they haven't won back-to-back yet.
And so they're not in that conversation.
Can 100% sit there and say
so the Cowboys won.
I mean, I hope they do.
Super Bowl 27, 52-17. And then
against the Bills. They beat the Bills both times, right?
Yep.
And then they won the 93 game after that. Right? 92, 93, the Super Bowls, whatever else.
Emmitt Smith got the MVP in that. Aikman got the MVP in the first one.
Here's my question for you. If you're going to compare jet airplanes from World War II to modern day fighter jets, you can't.
Right.
In other words, then the most dominating during their time.
That most previous team, the Patriots of 03 and 04, would smoke every other team because they were a more advanced technology-driven team that had stronger athletes. Athletes continue to get better and better and better. You don't believe me? Look at the Olympic track records, all right? They don't get slower, they get faster. So the Patriots, because they were the most modern team, would smoke all those other teams. But let's just disengage from that and say, let's just go by the aura, by the machismo of these teams, if you will, which is a Spanish word for macho-ness. I would go with the 78-79 Steelers. I think that team, their wide receiver crew, their defense, I mean, they had a quarterback who could take out his forefront teeth with Terry Bradshaw. So that's my vote. 78-79 Steelers, out of all the repeat champions, were the coolest, best team with their aura and machismo.
Still going with Dallas.
You think right now if the 03-04 Patriots played the 93-94 Cowboys,
yes,
the Cowboys would beat them?
Yes.
I mean, that's a good team. All these teams are amazing teams.
Yeah.
You don't win back-to-back Super Bowls without being an amazing
team. They won 3 out of 4.
We have a good question for you, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
On the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread from our friend Easer A's, he wants to know who your top 10 quarterbacks are. He said he would guess that you don't have the recency bias that most lists have.
I don't have the what?
All time.
He would guess I don't have the what?
The recency bias.
Top 10 of all time.
Well, number 1 would be Johnny Utah, for sure, from Point Break. I'm kidding. The greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Sorry, man.
I have, I'm going to upset a lot of people here. Growing up in the 1980s, I always thought Dan Marino was twice the quarterback of Joe Montana.
I'm with you.
If you put Dan Marino on that 49ers team, he wins at least 4 Super Bowls.
That's such BS.
No, it's not.
Then you can't do the whole thing when people say, well, Patrick Mahomes is just okay, he's got all the weapons. Like, that's not fair. That's not a fair statement because people have said that about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Tyreek Hill just came out on Twitter and said, "Don't do this." He wrote it out to somebody. He said, "Don't join this crowd of people. This kid's special."
Jay, to quote Robert De Niro, "Let me finish."
Okay.
All right, let me finish.
Yeah, Jay, let him finish.
So because I thought Marino was, as far as the ability to read defenses, to throw bullets, to rack up passing yards, he was twice the quarterback Montana was. He just didn't play on the team.
West Coast offense
I
wouldn't
think
have
the
been-
same about Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. If you put Peyton Manning on the Patriots, he wins at least the same amount of Super Bowls that Tom Brady wins, if not more. So my top 10 quarterbacks of all time, I also like the gunslinger too.
Favre?
Brett Favre. I love Brett Favre. I'm going to go, and it could go either way here, the greatest quarterbacks of all time, I'd go Brett Favre number 1, Peyton Manning number 2, Dan Marino number 3.
You're out of your mind.
Well, that's what people have said all my life. But it's too early to talk about Patrick Mahomes, but that guy does things that no other quarterback has ever done.
Well, it's because
And
he's got a tight end who's not a traditional tight end. He's got a wide receiver. He's got all these
because
weapons.
he played Division I baseball at the position of shortstop.
All right, Jimmy, hold on.
And he'll even
got,
say it.
You got Favre number 1?
Favre, yes.
And who was that 2?
Peyton Manning.
It's nothing to do with Patrick. It's got everything to do with
and
Travis
then you,
Kelce.
And then you had Marino.
Dan Marino.
Okay.
Number 4, and I hate to do this because I believe that the further back in time you go, the less athletic people are compared to what they are now. We just know better now how to train athletes, how to eat, how to work out. But we talked about him earlier, and he doesn't hold a lot of career records, but the son of a gun was Captain America. Who is it?
Staubach.
Roger Staubach.
That was Roger Staubach
Now,
in my backyard.
has
Had a
anybody-
shoebox full of baseball cards.
You're already upsetting people.
That's fine. Has,
cracking me up.
has anybody? Has
Well, I'm gonna
anybody?
give him- I'm
and
gonna
a
give my
couple of
top
evil
10 when he's
Knievel
done.
stars on
Has-
my right arm.
Has anybody heard me say Tom Brady or Joe Montana?
No, and that's what the comments are saying.
That's fine. These guys were 6 foot. Well, Brady's 6'4", but with a body fat ratio of 17%. Their hips were wider than their shoulders. They were not athletes. They played on some of the best teams ever and racked up big time Super Bowl numbers. Again, Dan Marino wins at least 4 Super Bowls if he plays on the 49ers in the 80s. Peyton Manning wins at least.
They both went to Division I schools that have
They're good
tradition.
athletes, but Peyton
Michigan
Manning is a
and
better
Notre Dame.
quarterback than
You just
Tom
be like,
Brady.
oh yeah, I mean, he
All right,
just
you still have
lucked
6
into
more
a
to
quarterback
go
position.
because I got mine ready. So you still have 6 more to go.
All right.
They
I'm
played
gonna throw
at
in-
Michigan,
what do you-
Notre Dame.
what
like,
number we
oh,
at?
Tom Brady.
You,
no, yeah,
you're
no big
at
deal.
5.
I got to have Joe Montana and Tom Brady in there. I do.
Okay.
So let's go Tom Brady, number 5, Joe Montana, number 6.
Okay.
And then, even though they're going way back in the past, I love Johnny Unitas.
There it is.
Okay.
Joe Namath had a unique career where
He's terrible. Like the stats are terrible.
Well, quit yelling at us.
why do people still talk about him, Jay?
All right, you going with Joe Namath?
Johnny Unitas, Joe Namath. I'm probably leaving out some humdingers here.
Go ahead.
Someone's asking where Romo ranks.
Romo?
Yeah.
He's outside the top 10.
He's going in the hall as an announcer.
He's going in the hall.
Let me
period.
sidetrack this really quick. Do you think Troy Aikman is a top 10 quarterback, or do you think he just benefited from playing on a great team like Joe Montana and Tom
Troy
Brady
Aikman
did?
held the record for the most accurate passer in the playoff history until it was broken by Kurt Warner. So yes, Troy Aikman is.
See, I love Kurt Warner too. What a great success story. But I don't think I'd put him in the top 10. I don't think I'd put him in the top 10. There's a guy going way back, and if you ever watch interviews, he's one of the most entertaining interviews ever. Maybe you've heard of him, Jay Foster. Ready for this? Slammin' Sammy Baugh. You ever heard of the guy?
Mm-mm.
Played quarterback for the Bears.
He played for the Washington. Can I still say the team name?
Sure you can.
Washington Redskins. He used to throw footballs through little hoops that were stationed on pedestals. The hoops were just a little bit bigger than a football, and he'd throw it through there all the time. And when this guy, he was a World War II veteran, and he set all kinds of records. So Sammy Baugh, put him in there. What is that, number 8 or 9?
9.
I got one more.
Yep.
I can't say Johnny Utah, right?
No.
I'm forgetting some. Oh, here's one that I believe is great. All right, put him in there. It makes it 2 Packers. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron.
Yep. All right, go ahead.
All right,
and if I upset anybody out there in TV land, I'm sorry. I have my reasons, and I'm
Don't
sure
be
you
sorry.
do too. Apology.
Everyone has their opinions.
Accepted.
All right, I got Brady.
Number 1 all time?
Yeah.
He's won the most.
I think
He's
Rodgers.
the GOAT.
Brady has won the most for sure.
I think Manning.
Manning's number 3?
Yeah. I think Drew Brees.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry, guys. I would have put him up there.
Let's see. Rodgers, Brady, Manning, Brees. I'll go Favre.
You kind of look like a young Favre, Jay.
I've heard it.
I'll go Marino.
I've heard that before. I've heard Stifler too.
I'll
Andy Murray too, the tennis player.
I'll go Staubach.
Andy Roddick. Andy Roddick. Yeah. And then there was another one. I was while he was doing this. I was in an airport. Probably.
How can I do it when you're talking?
You finish it. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm gonna go Aikman.
What number's that for you?
8. And then I'm gonna go Montana.
Number 9.
And then Steve Young at number 10.
I forgot about Young. Okay, so
Left-handed
Brees and Young
wizard.
I did not have in my list. And you had Montana lower than I had him.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. Every one of these guys benefited from a system.
Sure.
Okay, and you can talk about Aikman being on one of the greatest teams of all time. You can say the same thing about Montana
and Brady
and Young.
How can you say that about Brady when he just won an NFC championship on a different team? That's not a system thing.
Took Gronk with him, and he's got a bunch of other weapons that no other quarterbacks usually have.
I left. I'm sorry. I have to leave. I got to
many
leave
playoff wins than
Bradshaw
anybody
out of
else.
it, though, man. I think Aaron Rodgers is insanely good.
Yeah.
Insanely good.
Like, as much as I want to call the MVP trophy the Patrick Mahomes trophy because he is talented, Aaron Rodgers is that team. Like, they've given him, what did we say? Like,
I mean, as
MVS
good as Favre was,
and-
too, just think about it. I mean, they never beat the Cowboys in the playoffs during his time. They had the Dallas lost to the 49ers, and then the following year they won the Super Bowl, and then they lost to the Carolina Panthers. We're going to have to go to Green Bay and play them. That would have been fun.
But
Because I think they would have broken
then if we're
his
looking
heart
at
again.
playoffs and we do whatever else, and Aaron Rodgers' numbers in the playoffs,
Is that beer
especially
still
NFC
cold over there,
championship,
Jimmy?
is not good. You know?
Is that beer still cold over there?
Yeah, you need another one?
That's the thing. That's
someone
not
drank
good.
mine.
Coral
It wasn't me.
No, that's the thing.
But there's guys in there we're forgetting. I mean, Fran Tarkenton was a hell of a quarterback.
Yep. Never won the big one, though.
No, but I mean, him, Bradshaw are both in there. I agree with your Unitas being up there.
Unitas won back-to-back, 58-59.
But you guys both have Marino at 3, and he never won it.
Marino was a stud, though. I'm with him. Marino was a stud.
There's all
I
kinds
got
of
Marino at
names in
6.
here.
A lot of it has to do with the surrounding team you have. I mean, Aikman had one of the greatest teams assembled ever. So
course
did
he
Tom
did.
Brady.
Aikman had arguably the best running back of all time.
Yes. And look at the receiver core he had.
Michael Irvin, Alvin Harper, Jay Novacek.
Jay Foster.
Mm-hmm. No, was not on that team. No, they didn't even let me suit up. Again, though, the whole idea of a system, then I hate that knock on it's a system quarterback because then it takes away from Mahomes because that's what it was. Tyreek Hill was tweeting at Kurt Warner because Kurt Warner said, like, well, look at the weapons he has.
Well,
And
yeah.
Tyreek Hill was like, don't be part of this
Look
crowd.
at the
This
weapons
kid-
he had. Well, I mean, he can't say that. He had the greatest show on turf.
I agree. Listen, he did a lot
Listen,
of.
if you're going to fault a quarterback for his teammates, then you're way off base. You can't fault him for his teammates he has,
But when the
or
dust,
if he doesn't have.
when the dust settles and Brady's walking around with 6 rings on his fingers, okay.
7 after today.
If Jay
After
Foster,
next week.
no offense, Jay, if Jay Foster played for the Quad City Sox
Mhm.
and I played for the Quad City Titans for
Yeah.
20 years in a row, Jay Foster would walk away with 15 ASC state titles.
Yep, never see a single pitch, but yeah. Like be on the bench the entire
I
time.
wouldn't
yeah.
have any. Would that kind of make things look better when,
Yeah,
he was,
but-
when we were both 50 years old? That Foster was a better ball player. Well, he
Well,
played
if
on a
he-
better team.
All right, but baseball and football are two different things. And in what position are you two playing? I mean, Jay said he's playing the bench.
Yeah.
You're playing the field?
I understand that. If
Okay,
let's
I mean,
just say
no,
we both play the
I mean,
same
but when
position.
you measure baseball players, you don't measure by championships.
Jeez.
I mean, do we?
I think-
unless we're talking about Mike Trout, who can't even get his team to the playoffs. So that's why I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, too. I think Montana and Brady are smart people. I think they're very good quarterbacks. I think they won the amount of Super Bowls they had because of the system they inherited. And I think if you took a guy like Brett Favre or Peyton Manning or Dan Marino and put them in those same systems, they win at least as many, if not more. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right.
Jimmy's had enough.
I've only had 2 so
Well,
far.
that's the thing that comes out in
What are the comments?
when it comes down to the Baseball Hall of Fame thing, though. This is it's highly speculated that tonight.
Warren Moon.
Oh, we forgot about. Thank you.
I didn't forget about Warren Moon. I just didn't make a list.
That guy suffered from playing in the CFL for half of his career.
Warren Moon would have gotten
Jim Kelly?
a lot more love. Jim Kelly's up there. I'm telling you, there was a ton of them. It's hard to make a top 10.
Top
I mean,
10.
These guys
Okay,
were splitting
fine.
hairs.
All right, here's one. You've got Aaron Rodgers, right? You've got Tom Brady, and we've got Drew Brees because right now he is technically still playing. Mahomes, we think it will probably be in the top 10. Anybody else that's playing right now that if we did this 15 years from now that you're saying that's playing right now, they're in the top 10 that have the
It's way
capability.
too early for Josh Allen.
I think it's way too early for Josh
Way
Allen.
too early for Deshaun Watson. A lot of these quarterbacks right now that are the runners, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know this doesn't last. It's proven. The NFL proves that running quarterbacks they don't have the longevity.
You're right.
And I mean, there's athletes coming up every year that are fast and strong.
Yep.
And you get pelted,
Oh,
man.
I know one for sure that'll be top 10 years from now.
Mahomes?
Trubisky.
Well, if he gets the right system, everything will work out for him just fine. He's a system quarterback.
That's selling what I said very short.
I think Mahomes has a ton of potential right now.
He's an amazing athlete.
And I'm sorry, I think Dak Prescott has potential right now.
Okay. Joe Burrow?
Russell Wilson is going to be talked about as one of the greatest of all
Russell
time.
Wilson, yeah.
He's a good quarterback.
What about Joe
He
Burrow?
also played baseball in college, just like Patrick Mahomes.
It's too early on Joe Burrow. Listen, if
I
Joe
know,
Burrow,
I
I mean,
know.
it's way too early to say
I
on
know.
Joe Burrow. But I'm looking at guys that have had a few years under their belts. You're saying, okay, I mean, I don't think Carson Wentz is on that list when it's all said and done.
That guy's going to be him.
Why? Big Ben?
Ooh, Roethlisberger?
He's already up there on that list. I mean, hey,
I wouldn't put him top 10.
He's not going to crack the top 10. Yeah.
But I mean, he's up there as one of the more successful quarterbacks of all time.
Matt Ryan?
I mean, but look at we just talked about the other day. He just retired.
Yep.
Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
He's top 5 statistically right now in total yards and touchdowns.
Yeah.
But he's not on this list.
No.
We talked about him going to be a Hall of Fame, yeah.
Also, he played in San Diego.
Right, but I'm saying I think he'll be a Hall of Famer. But I mean, I think we're splitting hairs at some point. I mean, it's who did you like as a kid? Who were you a fan of? Jimmy, what age are you? Follow me?
Yep.
I mean, you're throwing out guys that are a lot older than some people remember.
Sure, but here's the thing. If you ask most Steeler fans, who's a better quarterback, Terry Bradshaw or Ben Roethlisberger?
They'll say Terry.
They'll say
because
Terry.
he won 4 Super Bowls. And Roethlisberger's won 2, right?
Yeah.
And it's like fun to be a Terry Bradshaw
won 2.
fan. I mean, he was great in Cannonball
Troy
Run.
won 3.
But if you look at the stats and the winning percentage and the yards, Roethlisberger is a better quarterback than Bradshaw.
And if you look at the stats and the yards and everything, Tony Romo is the best passer in Dallas history.
Yeah.
He holds every record.
Yep.
Except for Super Bowl win.
It's a great debate. I love talking about top 10 best of all time lists.
Well, it's a position that's, it's easy or fun to do. It gets differently when you start, because baseball, like T-Roy said, what position? Do you guys play the same position or not? You can do the best 10 players of all time, but it's hitters. That's what you have to do. Best 10 pitchers or hitters, which you're not going to do best center fielders because it's just kind of like, all right.
And,
move on.
nothing against Tom Brady and Joe Montana. They're fantastic quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong. I got a funny story about Tom Brady. I'm at my children are at the age now. My kids are 7 and 9. I'm very thankful that I pushed buying football and baseball cards onto them because a lot of kids nowadays wouldn't even notice those exist. So they're getting football and baseball cards and they're asking me questions because now when you buy a pack of baseball cards, you'll get some retro cards in there. Oh, who's this, Dad? That's George Brett. Who's this? He's a Hall of Famer. So they're learning about the history of the game and they understand the excitement when they get a good card. My youngest 7-year-old, Eli, he is watching football every single weekend, and he'll watch 2 or 3 games in a row, and he's in there by himself on the couch, and I can hear him from the other room yelling at the screen. That was a hold. I know I saw a hold. Oh, it was just 2nd and 7. I think they got 3 yards. Now it's probably 3rd and 4. He's talking to himself. So he was watching the Buccaneers game, and you know what he says? He says, that's Tom Brady. that Tom Brady, he looks like John Cena, only not as strong.
He does get
it dawned on me, yes, Tom Brady looks like an anemic John Cena.
Anemic.
Yeah, a little, yeah, they got the jawline, everything. I can see that. Yeah. All right, well, we got 10 minutes left. We got to take a break. And then 10 minutes left in this hour. We have to take a break. We have to do the commercial. What's that over there? That's me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's you.
Sorry.
I get in trouble.
It's always our fault.
Yeah, he looks over at us like we're doing something wrong.
Well,
They're
probably
always on your phones or whatever.
I wasn't. I'm
We're
looking
looking
with
at the comments.
Okay, all
on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread.
Yeah, we're rocking like Don Dockin over here.
I love it. All right, I apologize. No, it's not off. We haven't gotten a break.
Since
yet.
1934, Tri-City Equipment has been your source for equipment, value, and
service.
There you go, kid.
Hey,
if you're looking to get something for your home chef, try them out online at tricityequipment.com or stop down to 527 West 4th Street and check out their newly remodeled 2,400 square foot showroom. Remember, they deliver to all Quad City residents and match online pricing.
All of them?
All of them.
Wow.
563 today, 563-322-5382. Storeroom hours 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Tri-City Equipment, 527 West 4th Street in Davenport.
I've been earning and burning, snapping necks and cashing.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Tom Kakert from HawkeyeReport.com, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
We're here today to honor the Quad City's Father of the Year. Envelope, please. And this year's Father of the Year is Mark Brenny.
Mabel, that's that motorcycle geek from out by Koa.
Mark, what does it take to be Father of the Year?
Well, you have to learn how to listen. When my two boys were little, they always said, Dad, we need more power. So instead of 50cc mini bikes, I bought them the larger Yamaha PW80s. It was so cute. They could take them to school, and during recess, they would give rides in the playground for $1 each. They made a fortune, and now they can take that money and pay for college. However, being a really good father, we pooled our heads and decided instead to buy some newer, larger Yamaha dirt bikes, such as the all-new Yamaha TTR 225. Hey, kids, shut those damn bikes off right now.
You may not have won any awards, but you can still be a good father.
I'm gonna whip
Buy your kids' affection at Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic across from Alcoa. Almost.
Wallace defends himself. More from the Iowa Almanac in a moment.
I'm Michael Swanger, owner and publisher of Iowa History Journal. Now is the time to subscribe to Iowa History Journal, as you won't want to miss the incredible stories we have planned for 2021. They are the kind of stories that you won't read in other magazines. As we begin our 13th year of publishing Iowa History Journal, we remind Iowans that many of our back issues are also available. Get your copy of our January-February issue at Hy-Vee and Fairway, or visit iowahistoryjournal.com and order it today.
By 1950, the hot war, World War II, was over, but the new Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union had just begun. Iowan Henry A. Wallace served in Franklin Roosevelt's administration as Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Commerce, and for 4 years during the heart of the war as Vice President. It was on this date in 1950 that Wallace testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee, which was investigating reports claiming he was responsible for the shipment of uranium compounds to Russia in 1943. At that time, then Vice President Wallace was also chief of the Board of Economic Warfare, which issued export licenses. Some commentators had suggested that since they were a wartime ally, Wallace approved licenses for the Soviets to get atomic bomb-making materials. He said despite his role in the government and the war effort, he was neither responsible nor aware of any kind of shipping to Russia. He said that was in the hands of the Lend-Lease program. The story made news back here in Iowa, with the Cedar Rapids Gazette proclaiming in a front-page headline, "Henry says he wasn't in Red Deal," as Iowan Henry Wallace defended his honor in Washington on this date in 1950. And that's Iowa Almanac for January 26th. Until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Stein.
Hey Quad Cities, it's Jaybird with Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Get your local sports talk 12 to 2 with me, T-Roy, Bomber, and Surge. Download the station app to listen to us anywhere, and like us on social media to join in the conversation. Plus, when you sign up to be an ESPN Insider, you'll get access to all of our great contests and everything that's going on at ESPN1170am.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged. We are the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Janae and Golick Jr.
The difference that a ring makes in a Hall of Fame campaign, like the one Phillip Rivers is going to get ready for, is seismic for me,
I don't like
Janae.
you. I don't like you right now.
Why is that?
I really don't like you. Because, like, I am 28 years old, professional athlete currently for the LA Sparks. And like, I come front every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to win a championship. It matters so much to me because I feel like, honestly, that's the only thing I haven't really done. I did it in high school, didn't get to do it in college. And then now at the professional level against the best of the best, that's awesome. But it's funny because it's graded on the scale of how much does a championship matter to that athlete, right? At some point, you know, some people are just good with their legacy being pretty good and better than most. But, I just think it's funny because every time these things are sometimes subjective per the athlete, I would love it, but I'm still good regardless, but it would help.
Janae and Golick Jr., 306 on the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170. We talk about every NFL game, Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, even Saturdays. Get your football fix right here on the Quad City sports leader, ESPN 1170.
And we're talking nipples during the break, but they're not the kind you think. The
Yeah,
kind that
sounds
goes on a
about
bottle.
right.
But anyway, welcome back to Don't Hassle So Local. It's Jay's birthday, everybody.
Oh, it is. Yay.
He's
my
so
birthday.
excited to be here.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
only given us 3 dirty looks the entire show.
He
And
turns
now-
so red every time we say happy birthday.
I know. I've never been like a big.
He doesn't like the attention on him.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed Jay's like not an attention-seeking dude?
Which is hilarious because you
We're
know,
we
we're
do
on
a radio show, but yeah.
Yeah.
But then about 5 drinks on karaoke night, then we're gonna put the attention
karaoke
on,
night.
we're
I've
gonna
never
put-
seen you karaoke.
We're gonna put Jay
he's
Bird
a
on. Is gonna be on
legend.
attention then at that
Uh-oh.
point. Yeah, but yeah. Other than that, usually I like to just do the stuff and the whole like Happy Joe's. Can I have your attention? Honker, honker, honker.
Oh God, that is like the quickest way to
Ladies and
just
gentlemen,
make
we
me
have a
wanna
birthday
cry.
in the house. I'd like to.
Texas Roadhouse is the worst.
Oh
though.
yeah. I would like to eat Texas Roadhouse
But
though.
man,
I
their
ate their,
freaking
What do you
roll
mean?
sounds
I
so good.
love it when the Texas Roadhouse people come and sing me happy birthday.
Have you ever had a bad steak there?
The
Me neither.
best is when, remember when Osaka used to be open and they would do your birthday
Yeah,
celebration
yeah,
for
yeah.
you? That was pretty
That's
solid
a Japanese steakhouse.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
hibachi style
been.
birthdays.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, so
Dang.
it is speculated that tonight, when the Baseball Hall of Fame voting results are announced, that there will not be any new entrants into the Baseball Hall of Fame for just the 4th time since 1960.
Wow.
The 4th time?
Yep, just the
Since
4th time. Yep. You can call it what you will. Is it a weak crop or is it steroids? Names on the list: Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Andrew Jones, Jeff Kent, Manny Ramirez, Scott Rowland, Kurt Schilling, Gary Sheffield, Sammy Sosa, Omar Vizquel, Billy Wagner. There's other people on here, but I don't think it needs to be. I don't think we need to talk about A.J. Burnett. I don't know if Mark Burley is on the bubble or not. I don't think Bobby Abreu is. Michael Kadire is definitely not going in if I have anything to say about it. I don't think Dan Herron's ever going in. I don't think LaTroy Hawkins is ever going in. I don't think Tim Hudson's ever going in. Unfortunately, I don't think Tim T-Nuts is ever going in. Andy Pettit is a name that's been mentioned before. Aramis Ramirez, I don't think he's ever going in. Nick Swisher, sorry. Shane Victorino, nope. Barry Zito, nope. Why are we not putting these people in?
I don't know.
Schilling should get in.
Okay.
Someone says something about steroids.
Okay.
Well,
That's
of course,
exactly it.
steroids
Yeah.
separates half that group. The other group, I think it's just because, I hate to say this, Jeff Kent, his numbers aren't bad, but ho-hum. Nobody really cares about
It's
the
a
guy.
Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Great.
That's right. It's not the Hall of Above Average. And Pete Rose told me once, it was a great line. He said, if you're not a first ballot Hall of Famer, you shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
The baseball is so much different
Think
than
about
the
that.
other ones.
If you're
like-
not an obvious choice where everybody's mouth drops and said, yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame, then you should go down the street to the Hall of Above Average. And about half those names that you read are above average. And that's pretty good company for the history of Major League Baseball for 150 years. They're not slouches. But and obviously you got your Barry Bonds and your Roger Clemens and your Andy Pettitts, people who should be in, but the steroid thing came out.
So the steroid thing came out.
Manny Ramirez, obviously, this guy is a beast. That's another steroid guy. But name a couple of the other players that that you said before. Jeff Kent was one. You know, the guy had some good second base numbers. Great second base numbers, but I don't know if he's Hall of Fame worthy.
Yesterday, T. Roy, you brought up a tweet from Jeff Passan from ESPN, right?
Right.
He has not voted since 2017 and he stopped voting because it was a letter from Joe Morgan when he said to not allow people, please, to say to voters, do not allow elect steroid users into the Hall of Fame because it's the most sacred place in baseball. Jeff Passan decided he didn't want to vote anymore, and here's what he said. If by sacred, the hall means one in which racists, wife beaters, drunks, gamblers, and purveyors of manifold moral turpitude otherwise are celebrated, well, Cooperstown is a shining beacon of divinity set upon a hill of hypocrisy.
Wow.
Yeah, strong words.
Yeah, no kidding.
But the thing is, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, this is the one thing that I over and over again is the Baseball Writers Association of America, how they hold this. They don't have to release their votes, but there are rules for election. There's 9 rules. The Baseball Writers of America Association. Okay, all right. The one is that they have the rules for election. You know, the authorization, eligible candidates. But I think the big one that we talk about now is in Rule 5 of everything that goes through. Voting shall be based on the player's record, playing ability, integrity, sportsmanship, character, and contribution to the team or teams on which the player played. All right, so is that what they're holding on to? The integrity? The character?
Well,
because Kurt Schilling he talked a lot to the media, and then post baseball he came out about his political opinions.
Yeah, they're basically trying to shut him for his political opinions.
And Barry Bonds, if he didn't,
which is BS, man.
Barry Bonds, if his head didn't grow 3 sizes, but he was never good with the media, but neither was Ted Williams. With that out, does that?
I mean, Ted Williams to his dying day
hated
sports writers.
Hated him.
I guarantee you, though, that Barry Bonds flew jets in 2 different wars and shot down a bunch of airplanes and was a patriot in the military. It would probably help his cause.
It certainly
Next
would
question.
have, but
Next
I mean,
question.
he didn't grow up in the era where he had the opportunity to do any of that either.
Yeah.
Ted Williams is a stud. He is John Wayne incarnate, and he's my favorite ball player of all time.
I think Bonds should be in.
I think
Bonds would have been a Hall of Famer without the roids.
You're absolutely right. He would have. He would have hit about 512 home runs without roids.
Yeah.
He would have left the history and integrity of the game interesting to players, because when every player got close to 60 home runs, everybody shut down for the entire country and watched ESPN every night because it was exciting. Now nobody gives a crap. Because Bonds said, here's a magic pill, here's a magic shot. I'll have the best years of my career after the age of 40, and I'm going to rewrite the historic record book with a big fat Sharpie marker and say F you all over it. And now all of a sudden, when a guy gets close to hitting 50 or 60 home runs, it means nothing. Nobody cares anymore. That generation, like a group of spoiled kids who said, guess what? Up till now, everybody's gotten 10 pieces of candy on trick-or-treat night. Let's take 20. Let's just abuse the heck out of this. Well, they did it enough for 10 years in the 90s and early aughts to where now those records and those numbers.
I love Jimmy.
But is this Bonds?
Nobody cares.
Is it Bonds' fault? Is this Bonds' fault, though? I mean, you look at baseball was celebrated in '98. Sammy Sosa McGuire, and he looked and he's like, I'm the best player in the game, and no one cares about what I'm doing. He's like, screw it, I might as well. And I'm not saying he is. I'm recklessly speculating, but I don't blame him.
They're equally as wrong, except Bonds
but baseball embraced it.
Bonds was the one that broke the records, is what it is. So Bonds was the one that
McGuire did it first.
Yeah, that's true. McGuire did it first.
McGuire did it, and then Sosa did it. I mean, as the time frame went, Sosa didn't get as many that year, but I'm saying McGuire would have been the villain too.
Sure, you're right. And it's not a black or white thing, all right? Everybody loves Sosa. I still love Sammy Sosa. That guy had charisma. The way that guy interacted with the fans, he didn't come off as a spoiled brat whose daddy played big league baseball and allowed his son to take batting practice on fields his whole life and then never say thank you for it. That's Barry Bonds. I'm sorry. Like, everybody that's talked to him says the guy thinks he's, the coolest thing since sliced bread.
He really does. Like,
but here,
the story that when
the guy can hit,
when he breaks the
wrong.
home run record, and the story is that the guy who was like the general manager of the Pirates called him to congratulate him, and Bond said, "If you would have called me up a year earlier, like you should have, I would have broken it earlier." Like, it's not like thanks for your time or the phone call. He's like, "You should have called me up a year earlier. I would have broke it sooner." Like that, he still had that. Still, like 16 years later, he was still pissed about that. He
was just really, he was bratty. That's the best word to use for him. I played ball with a guy who went to spring training for the Pirates in the early 90s, which was when Bonds was winning his back-to-back MVPs for Pirates with Van Slyke and Bonilla. And he was called up for spring training. He never made the team. But he was playing shortstop, and Bonds made a catch in left field, just a can of corn, threw it into my buddy playing shortstop. And he looked at Bonds and he goes, "Hey, that's one. That's one." You see what I'm saying with my finger here, Jay? You know what
Yeah.
That's one. That's one. F you. That's what Bonds yelled at him.
Mm-hmm.
This was who Barry Bonds was.
No.
I don't think Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa had that in them. But when you exude that kind of negativity for 20 years, and then when all the dust settles, you're saying, "Well, why isn't people treating Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa the same way?" There's a reason.
Hold on. Okay.
There's a reason.
I know where you're going with what you got going on here.
Okay.
Right?
I digress.
But first things first. I put this out on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah.
Why is it that the MLB and the MLBPA just consistently are just buttholes to each other? Like, this whole universal DH, and the players want it, but MLB wants expanded playoffs. They're not budging. There's no compromise. Like, no matter what, whenever the story comes out, MLB and MLBPA,
both are good for the game.
If you read the first sentence,
why can't they agree on it?
If you read the first sentence of any article that's written, the MLB and the MLBPA, you know automatically it's going to be a complete fight.
Well, the problem is we haven't had a strong commissioner in at least 30 plus years. We don't have a commissioner that tells the players' union and the owners, "You're both being jackasses.
Yeah,
this is what we're going to do."
I agree.
Yep.
That's the problem.
I think at this point,
you go back and look at some of those former commissioners. I mean, they basically gave two middle fingers to both sides and were like, "Nah, we're doing this."
Mm-hmm.
And good or bad for some of it, but at least the guy had stones enough to make the call. And the guy they got in there now is he's a puppet.
Oh, Manfred's a joke, but
Manfred Man, Earthman.
So I think, and you have someone like Nelson Cruz who's out there as a free agent, doesn't know where it's going to go. This would benefit the Nationals. They just signed Schwarber. I'm all for. I'm all for the universal DH.
I am too.
And I love the playoffs. I think I want to expand the playoffs. I don't like the one-game playoff.
Baseball needs to make changes.
They certainly do, Jimmy.
You watch. If you gave me a piece of ribeye steak every single day for a month, after a month I'd say, it's just steak. You give me that many teams in the playoffs, by the time the World Series comes around, who cares?
I guess.
I don't think so.
I didn't though.
It's too much for too long. Why is March Madness so great? Because it's one and done.
That's fine.
Why is the NBA playoffs the most boring thing in the world? Because there's too many teams, too many series.
The way they did it last year with a 3-game series and one spot was great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that one playoff play-in game that they had. I thought that was ridiculous. I like the way they did this expanded game, a 3-game series. The way they had it last year, I thought was perfect.
Yeah, I like the
teams. The teams that played for the World Series were still the teams that should have been playing for the World Series. You can't deny that.
I don't even know if Major League Baseball will be around in 50 years. Bob Costas said it best. He said, yes, it's all sabermetrics, it's all statistics, it's all people trying to win with numbers. But in 1960, the Pittsburgh Pirates beat the New York Yankees in Game 7 of the World Series in 10 innings. The score was 10-9. 19 runs were scored in 10 innings. The game lasted 2 hours and 17 minutes. The Cleveland Indians and the Yankees had a 10-inning game this last round in the playoffs. 10-inning game, 19 runs were scored. It lasted 4 hours and 55 minutes. There is too much going on, too much diagnosis, too much dissecting. Yes, you can say it's good for the game as far as winning and breaking down numbers, but Bob Costas said it best. He said, this is bad for the theater. for the theater of baseball.
Then
it's bad for the theater of baseball.
Then
People don't want to sit and watch a game
No.
and see 15 pitching changes every half hour.
That's blamed on the owners. The front office is not on the team. The players is not on the coaches. And we said the same thing. I got really upset at Rocco Baldelli about the Twins, and I said he is not coaching for the feel of the game. He's coaching by numbers. Same thing that happened in Game 6 with the Rays. They should not have taken Blake Snell out. They should not have. But they look at the numbers, and they said second time through everything. And I said to Tyson, I'm like, there's got to be a feel. And he goes, you would not believe how many head coaches lose their jobs because front office said you didn't stick to the plan because they tried to coach his feel. So I blame ownership and I blame front office guys that are not there, that are not part of the game. People that are analytics.
Yeah.
That's what I blame on that. So
analytics has its place. I get it.
It does, yes, and it does everywhere. I mean, Duke, University of Duke, just last year, started putting in analytics into their wrestling program. The guy you're wrestling likes to shoot a single leg to the right 88% of the time, or he shoots this way, or he does a duck under when he's on the edge of the mat. It's crazy. If you're a nerd and you like sports, what better thing to do than get into sports analytics?
But enough is enough, and eventually, it's good for the player, it's good for the team, it's good for the franchise. It's not good for the fans.
No,
it's not good for the theater.
But then they try to speed
it
up.
So the more technology we adopt, the more things advance or evolve. As far as everybody's breaking down every microsecond and looking at it on a laptop in the dugout and whatnot, go ahead. The game will improve as far as your ability to win, but the interest of the fans will fade because we come to watch the theater of the sport. We don't come to watch the dissection of every single movement of every single player, which is what's going on right now. So the more they do this, I mean, these games are lasting longer and longer. There's more and more pitching changes. I don't know.
They're trying to change some of the rules. But that being said, when I'm talking about universal DH, there was something, I think it was Erickson that put it on Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread.
All right, Jimmy.
Because he likes to listen to your baseball history, and T-Roy, I like yours too. That's why I said when Jimmy sat down, and I said, this is going to be completely organic. You guys are going to be great today. I don't really need to do much here. So
hot takes.
Erickson wants you, and I'm going to do it with you.
Okay.
I'm going to do my own, you do your own. I'll let you go first. Top 10 hitters all time in baseball.
Top 10 hitters? Can I put myself in there?
If you want.
At 8, maybe.
Top 10 hitters of all time.
Yeah.
I need to preface it.
Okay.
By simply saying this. Over 150 years of the evolution of Major League Baseball and the art of hitting a baseball at the highest level, players have evolved.
Yeah.
Players are bigger, stronger, faster now than they've ever been. I believe that if you took Ted Williams in a time machine and let him have a full season in the year 2020 or 2021, he might hit 250 because his body, his hands, his swing had not had that evolution that every other player has. If you took a player nowadays, just an average Joe player that's batting 230 and put him in a time machine and sent him back to the 1930s and 40s, he'd bat 500.
But he'd still be using their bats.
Yeah, and he'd still be seeing a pitcher that with no middle relief, with no closer, with a pitcher that's going to throw 9 innings no matter what. He's not going to have to worry about jet lag. He's not going to have to worry about any of that. All games are in the daytime. And if you've ever played the game, you know seeing a ball in the daytime is easier than at night. Okay, so my point is this. I can't use that because I want to have fun with this. So I'm going to just use statistics, okay? So Ted Williams could be as good now as he was back then. So my top 10 hitters of all time. I hate to say this because there's a big fat asterisk. My number one hitter of all time is Ted Williams.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Number 2 is Barry Bonds. I hate saying that because I believe the guy cheated.
Okay.
I think if every player in the history of baseball took the pills and the shots that he took after the age of 40, every player's numbers would have been inflated so much that Bonds would have still just been a really good player, not the best of all time, but he was the one that chose to do that. But I'll put Barry Bonds number 2. Ted Williams number 1. Barry Bonds number 2. Numbers don't lie. Babe Ruth number 3. Hank Aaron number 4. Willie Mays number 5. And here's a really good argument because the guy did not bat over 300 for his career. But Michael Jack Schmidt, if you look at his numbers in the 1970s, that guy playing for a low-level team, we're always a second division team. They always finished in the bottom half. His on-base percentage, his slugging percentage, Michael Jack Schmidt is obviously the best third baseman of all time, but I would put him number 6 on that list. That guy,
He's legit.
That guy could.
No, Schmidt is. I mean,
all right,
yeah.
I'm listening.
I'm
not arguing. I've got my list going in my head.
Because
so.
you got a guy like Rod Carew, who yes, he hit what career 3? What did he hit career 330 something? Career, almost hit 400 a couple times. But the guy never scored any runs. The guy didn't drive in runs. Mike Schmidt did. So give me Schmidt for number 6.
Okay.
Let me think here.
I got.
Someone said Pete Rose has to be on your list.
The greatest hitters?
Yep.
Pete Rose is the greatest player of all time. I'll
That's
say
fair.
that right now. And here's how. And I got to meet Pete Rose. I got to sit down with him for 2 hours. The reason he's the greatest player of all time is because he's the only player to play 600 or more games at 4 different positions. He's the only guy to play 400 or more games at 6 different positions. That was a lot of numbers there quick. The guy played left, center, right field. He played second base. He played third base. He played first base. He was a defensive gem. He was a switch hitter. He understood how to run bases, how to put down a bunt. He hustled. If you were to clone every single Major League Baseball player 8 times, why 8? Because we're going to give him a robotic pitcher, a pitcher that throws the same against every opponent. So pitching is a wash. If you cloned every player 8 times and you had 8 Willie Mays against 8 Hank Aaron's, against 8 Pete Roses, and had a big tournament, Pete Rose wins that tournament every single time. These other studs, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, you think you're going to be able to turn a double play like he could in the infield? No. Sure, they'll hit a home run a little bit more often than he does, but he's going to reach base, and he's going to take that extra base. Pete Rose is the greatest player of all time. Is he top 10 hitters? He had the most hits. So I'd say, yeah. Go ahead and give me Pete Rose. I'm sorry. He's number 7.
All right.
Give me, boy, I really want to put Georgie Brett up there, but I can't.
Oh, wow.
He's great, but he's not top 10.
Okay.
Albert Pujols. Geez, stop.
Okay.
What did I have for my top 4?
Teddy, Bonds, Ruth, Hank.
Move Pujols up to 6.
Okay.
That son of a gun can hit. Albert Pujols. And he played in a generation
Just wanted to throw out the Mike Schmidt fact that he led the majors in homers during 3 different presidencies. The only other person to do that was Babe Ruth.
And that's a great stat. And in 1981, he hit 31 home runs in a strike. I mean, he played
Ford,
half
Carter,
a year.
and Reagan. He led through all their.
All right, you got 2 more left, Jimmy.
Let's go with, and I hate to say this because it's a different generation, Ty Cobb. The guy hit 400. I could be wrong on this. He hit 400 4 or 5 different seasons. That's amazing.
Right.
But I think if you took him up nowadays, I don't think he'd hit 250. But Ty Cobb, his numbers were amazing. And let's go with, I'm going to forget some players here. I love that I got Albert Pujols in there because that guy is the greatest hitter in our generation. I'll tell you a guy I really love. He had the best smile in baseball. And he played on a
Torrey
horrible
Hunter?
team. No.
Ernie Banks.
Ernie Banks. Ernie Banks played on a losing team his whole career. He still hit 500 home runs. Played shortstop and first base. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw him on there. I'm sure there's some arguments there. Now,
I agree with you at number 1.
Read my list really quick, and then let me hear yours.
All right, you got Teddy Williams, Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, Hammer and Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Albert Pujols, Mike Schmidt, Pete Rose, Randall Tex Cobb, and Ernie Banks.
Okay.
All right, you got Teddy Williams, Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, Hammer and Hank Aaron.
You wouldn't believe how many guys wanted to play here. We had to beat
Who's
them up
this?
with a stick. Hey, that's Smoky Joe Wood. And Melot. Is Ty Cobb wanted to play. None of us could stand a son of a bitch when we were alive, so we told him to stick it.
It's still one of my favorite lines from that.
All right. So I agree with you, Ted Williams at 1. Hands down.
How many home runs would he have hit if he didn't serve in the military?
Who knows?
I think 700 at least.
Well, I mean, it would have been a lot. At 2, I don't know. You left this guy off your list. And
When you say them, I'm going to slap myself. in the
That's
face.
right. The 5.5 hole.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gwynn.
Oh yeah, people were talking about it on here.
That's like Rod Carew.
That's fine. I think Tony Gwynn deserves to be there.
I love Tony Gwynn.
I love Tony Gwynn too.
Who doesn't?
And I'm sorry, and I know you said his name.
Hold on.
You said his name, and you didn't want him on your list, but I'll take him. I'm taking George Brett.
So hold on. You have Tony Gwynn as what? Number 3?
Number 2. I have Brett at 3.
Number 2 is the greatest hitter of all time.
Yeah.
And Brett number 3.
Yeah.
Those are 2 of my favorite players, but I did not put them there because those guys are not going to score you runs or drive in runs.
I'm going off hitting.
All right.
All right. I 100% agree with you about Babe Ruth. I'm putting Ruth at 4. I'm putting Willie Mays at 5, so we agree on that one.
You don't have the hammer in there yet?
Not yet. I do have Rod Carew, by the way, and I have him at 6.
Hall of Famer Rod Carew. He converted.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
8 Hank Aaron's versus 8 Rod Carews versus 8 Tony Gwynns.
Talking about hitting.
Yes, we're talking about hitting.
We're not talking about fielding, though. You're
Hank
talking
Aaron,
about 8. You're talking about playing the field,
yes,
too.
and Hank Aaron, he won 2 batting titles.
That's fine.
It's not
but
like he
I'm not-
batted 250.
It's fine.
Okay.
But I'm finishing my list. I'm not going to have Albert Pujols on my list. Because I believe he was on something. We haven't
He was on
proven yet.
something, but yeah.
You might be right about that.
I'm pretty sure I'm right about that.
Troy's always right.
Not always right. I agree with you on Pete Rose. I think he needs to be on this list, and I agree with you about him being the greatest baseball player of all time.
Goat.
100%.
Did we have Griffey anywhere in those?
Well, and I'm getting there, Jay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Let me finish.
Can I finish? Can I finish? It's funny that you bring up Griffey because I'll have him next, but this guy, Ichiro.
Ichiro.
Great hitter.
Yeah.
I'll take Griffey at 9.
You still don't have Hank in there?
And I'll take Hank Aaron at 10.
Hank Aaron's legit. Ichiro's a good call, though.
I think Hank Aaron's a better hitter than Ichiro.
Yeah.
I think Ichiro was I think he's underrated, and I think a lot of it is because he played in Seattle.
Sure, he's amazing.
I mean, and if he had played his entire
He
career
would
in
have
the
beat
major
Pete
league,
Rose's
yes,
hit
I think
record,
he would.
yes. What did he end up with?
Wasn't it
3,100 hits?
Yeah, I know it was over 3,000.
I think he got like almost 3,100 hits, and the guy missed out, his first 8 years?
Yeah.
Because he was playing in Japan?
I mean, and he's probably going to average at least 250 hits a year.
He's amazing. So is
Yeah.
Rod Carew. So is Tony
Can we-
Gwynn.
can
But
we-
these guys don't hit the long ball.
But that's not all we're saying. I'm saying hitting, pure hitting.
But if you hit 330 and hit 35 home runs, is that better than hitting 370
That's
and
why,
5 home
that's
runs?
why I got Ruth Mays, Griffey, and Hank in there.
I'm not.
Listen, I honestly think that if Griffey doesn't get injured as many times as he did in his career, he's the all-time home run leader, and we don't even have to worry about this talk.
I think you're right.
Let's just throw this out here real quick about Hank Aaron. All right, take away his home runs.
He still has more hits than
He's still in the 3,000 hit club.
Yeah.
That's amazing. His total base lead over second place Stan Musial is more than 12 miles worth of bases. And we're not.
Oh my
gosh,
gosh, we forgot about Stan the Man.
Yeah, we forgot about Harmon Killebrew too. But I mean, those are names out there. But I mean,
really
it's
good
still fun to
names.
do all that
You
stuff.
guys, you left me off your list.
Oh, yeah. We're not talking about hitting on guys. We're talking about hitting baseball.
Hey,
You're definitely number one for hitting on guys.
Stan
I was good
Musial.
at softball.
One of the cool things about Stan the Man, however many hits he had, you have to look it up, 3,400 some hits, 3,600. It's a ton. Because Pete Rose beat his National League hit record. He had the same exact amount of hits to the exact hit on the road as he did at home.
That's a good
at
stat.
the end of his career.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. It's been. We got to take our first break of the hour. That's how good this conversation's been going.
All right.
Yeah.
Front Street Brewery is the oldest brew pub in Iowa, and it's been serving Davenport since 1992 with great beers like the Davenport Gold, the Wise Guy, the Raging River, and Jay's favorite, the Birthday Boys Cherry Bomb Blonde.
It is my birthday. I forgot.
They
about
also
that.
have great food too, guys. So make sure you check out their Facebook page for all of their specials, or visit the webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. Jimmy's got me 2 Budweisers.
Make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah! I said give me a hell yeah!
This is Randall, the QC hot dog guy. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Hey Quad Cities, this is Kim from Berry Global, a Fortune 400 packaging company. I have some exciting news. We are hiring technical and entry-level employees at our injection molding facility right here in Bettendorf. Berry offers an impressive benefits package which includes medical, dental, vision, 401k match, company-paid life and disability insurances, along with competitive wages and profit-sharing bonus. If being a part of an awesome team interests you, visit berryglobal.com to apply. That is BERRY global.com. Still looking for more information about Berry? Just say, Alexa, tell me about Berry Global.
Wallace defends himself. More from the Iowa Almanac in a moment.
I'm Michael Swanger, owner and publisher of Iowa History Journal. Now is the time to subscribe to Iowa History Journal, as you won't want to miss the incredible stories we have planned for 2021. They are the kind of stories that you won't read in other magazines. As we begin our 13th year of publishing Iowa History Journal, we remind Iowans that many of our back issues are also available. Get your copy of our January-February issue at Hy-Vee and Fairway, or visit iowahistoryjournal.com and order it today.
By 1950, the hot war, World War II, was over, but the new Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union had just begun. Iowan Henry A. Wallace served in Franklin Roosevelt's administration as Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Commerce, and for 4 years during the heart of the war as Vice President. It was on this date in 1950 that Wallace testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee, which was investigating reports claiming he was responsible for the shipment of uranium compounds to Russia in 1943. At that time, then Vice President Wallace was also chief of the Board of Economic Warfare, which issued export licenses. Some commentators had suggested that since they were a wartime ally, Wallace approved licenses for the Soviets to get atomic bomb-making materials. He said despite his role in the government and the war effort, he was neither responsible nor aware of any kind of shipping to Russia. He said that was in the hands of the Lend-Lease program. The story made news back here in Iowa, with the Cedar Rapids Gazette proclaiming in a front-page headline, "Henry says he wasn't in Red Deal," as Iowan Henry Wallace defended his honor in Washington on this date in 1950. And that's Iowa Almanac for January 26th. Until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Stein.
The Circle Tap is your place to catch the big game on February 7th. Watch the championship game on one of their 16 flat-screen TVs or relax on the heated, socially distanced patio. Enjoy $2 cans, $4 Bloody Marys, and over $1,500 in cash prizes, like a flat-screen TV, a wall-mounted fireplace, a Bud Light mini fridge, and more. Plus $5 Made-Right baskets, $6 pulled pork baskets, or grab a rack of their world-famous ribs. Great food, great drinks, and great friends. The big game at the Circle Tap. West Locust, Davenport.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mahente.
The hottest offensive coordinator that I can think of in a long time, and Eric Bieniemy, you elect not to interview him, and you think Deshaun Watson doesn't see what the hell is going on with Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City's offense? Okay, well, there's a lot of teams out there, Zubin, that would like to have a 25-year-old quarterback that's probably in the top 4 in the league.
Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Zubin. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
At Crawford Company, we specialize in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Sports, on the other hand...
Hey, Crawford guy, go long!
No, I can't!
Here comes the pitch to Crawford guy. Strike 3.
Come on, Crawford guy, take the shot!
Sports may not be our specialty, but home comfort is. Crawford Company, plumbing and drain cleaning, heating and air conditioning.
Hey Quad Cities, it's Jaybird with Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Get your local sports talk 12 to 2 with me, T-Roy, Bomber, and Surge. Download the station app to listen to us anywhere, and like us on social media to join in the conversation. Plus, when you sign up to be an ESPN Insider, you'll get access to all of our great contests and everything that's going on at ESPN1170am.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged. We are the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Download the ESPN 1170 app today and never miss a thing. From the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170, KBOB Davenport.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Don't Hassle Us, local here on AM 1170. Thanks for tuning in on Jay Bird's birthday.
Yay! Yeah. It's birthday.
So mad.
It's my birthday.
Birthday week.
I know. I don't know. We went had a few drinks at happy hours yesterday because, we have softball practice tonight or whatever. So I don't know. I might afterwards go have a cocktail. I have no idea tonight. There's nothing on television to watch really, so.
Not unless you're catching up on Game of Thrones like me.
Well, yeah, you're catching up Game of Thrones. So I wanted to throw this out there, and
Or
I know,
rewatching Criminal
we'll just take a little movement from the sports world. Are you watching WandaVision?
Yes.
Oh, I got to start that.
Did you watch it?
I haven't seen any of it, no. And I'm a big Marvel fan.
So I'm already, so 3 episodes have been out.
All right, I haven't made it to the 3rd episode yet.
It's getting interesting and something's going on. So if you're paying attention to it as they kind of do things with it, and not to give any spoilers or whatever else, but there are Easter eggs in it, and if you pay attention, you're kind of getting what's going on. But it's very, very weird.
I did see something like someone on Twitter was like, did like a GIF or GIF or whatever they call it, of someone running like me running to the internet to look for the Easter eggs in episode 3. And like when I watched it, I was like, huh? In episode 2, and I was like, huh? Is my son gonna be able to sit through this? That's all I kept thinking, like, because he was like really psyched.
I don't know, because it's very weird. Episode 3 is like, so the first 2 episodes are like, it's like it's set in 50s TV land is episode 1. Episode 2 is 60s TV land, like a sitcom. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then episode 3 is basically a 70s, or once we got color sitcom, and it reminds you a lot of the Brady Bunch.
Okay.
Like you're like, okay.
All right, I'll watch.
What streaming service is
Like
this
Brady
on?
Bunch, it's
Disney
on Disney.
Plus.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, but there's stuff happening throughout, and something's coming, and then there's a few other little things that have happened. So there's some things.
All right.
So just tell them it's all like very hallucinogenic, if you will.
I'm adding it to my
for what's going on.
list.
So it's like I'm trying to think of what happened at the end, because they're saying basically this all happened after Thanos.
And then
Endgame, after
yeah.
Endgame. Yeah.
After Vision died.
Yeah.
Now
I love the play on words. One division, one division. I get it.
That's Elizabeth Olsen.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, he always has.
Now, did you watch
I never realized
Mandalorian?
that.
Of course.
And you watched it as
Oh
well?
yeah.
Yep.
No.
So good.
I do. I agree with you. It was
so good.
I haven't. I've said for the last 15 years they haven't made a great Star Wars movie since 1980. They haven't made a good Star Wars movie since 1983. In other words, all the crap they've thrown at us is too much action, too much of a stuffy tea party, yada yada.
Did you like Solo?
No.
You didn't?
I hated Solo.
I like Solo.
Number one, they didn't cast me.
Oh, well, other than
that's
that.
a problem.
But number two, they tried to take everything that Han Solo was cool for, meeting Chewbacca, winning the ship from Lando, setting the Kessel Run, getting kicked out of the Imperial Academy. They tried to shove that down our throats as if it happened within a week's time period. And that was too much, forced way too much down our throats. But that's my opinion. Mandalorian, I thoroughly enjoyed every episode.
Yeah, the way it let the last episode ended, and if you haven't seen it, tune out. We're gonna give a spoiler.
If you haven't, then that's not for you, though.
But the way it ended, and the last thing you see is they kind of.
Can we talk about that? Or
yeah,
no? Yeah, I thought it was great.
I mean, Boba Fett sitting on Jabba's throne.
Oh, I thought you meant Luke Skywalker.
Oh, that was badass too. Don't get me wrong. That Luke coming in and finally getting to see Luke like we needed to see Luke be a badass as a Jedi. That was great. And I love this technology where they can take and we have a young Luke.
I
You know?
do too, and I enjoyed it. I have a lot of Star Wars fans. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and a lot of them said, "Oh, it didn't look real, it looked fake." No, it didn't. It looked fine.
Looked really fun.
It looked great, and here's my guess. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but if you watch to the end of the credits, you see Boba Fett take back Jabba's throne, and then it says, "Coming soon, the Book of Boba Fett."
Yeah.
Are they done with The Mandalorian? It's just going to be the Book of Boba Fett now?
No.
Or there'll be 2 separate series?
It'll be 2 separate series.
Okay.
Boba Fett has a list of revenge.
Yes, that gets to my point. They treated all the old Star Wars fans, people like you and me, to a glimpse of Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2. I think this is going to become a tradition, and I think at the end of every season they're going to use that technology to give us a glimpse. And in this next season, who's Boba Fett pissed at the most? Han Solo. He got away with him, or he got away from him multiple times. And in the end,
but he was just paid to hunt Solo.
But he killed him. He swung the axe at his back and knocked him into the Sarlacc pit. I think you're going to see Boba Fett on his list of to-dos is to hunt down Solo. And I think at the end of the next season the first season of the Book of Boba Fett, they're going to use the same technology they did with Mark Hamill. You're going to see
young Solo.
You're going to see, well, not young.
Well,
he's going to look pretty much like he did in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
You're going to see Harrison Ford as Han Solo, and maybe even with Chewbacca. And that leads me to my next question: does Disney own the rights to Harrison Ford's face if they want?
Yes.
Okay. Because they paid him $30 million for The Force Awakens.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did that contract say we have the rights to use you for anything in the future?
Yeah, I guarantee it.
So you're going to see. I think you'll see Han Solo in the next season.
Woo!
What do you think, Stifler?
Exciting times we live in.
Stifler.
It's a lot.
Exciting
I
times.
still disagree with you on Solo. Now I understand what you're trying to say is that they all jammed it in like it was 1 week, but it didn't. If you think it through, it wasn't on that time frame.
You ever heard Harrison Ford talk?
Yeah.
It's slow. It's low. It's monotone. Hey, Chewie, get back to the ship and get her ready. Do you see how I'm sitting right now?
Mhm.
The word is languid. Alec Guinness.
Very languid.
Alec Guinness wrote in his journal, "I met a young lad for the first time today, a young Yankee named Harrison Ford. He was very languid." Harrison Ford always sits like I am right now, feet up on whatever table, whatever. He's lanky. He's the tallest guy in the room, even though he's only 6'1". Mark Hamill was only 5'6", and Carrie Fisher was 5 foot, tall. So he looked tall and lanky. They went out and cast a guy who's 5'8", with a flat face, a pug nose, and a high squeaky voice that sounds like he's sucking on helium. I'm talking about Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah.
Why? It looked like they were trying to shove Leonardo DiCaprio down our throat as Han Solo. Harrison Ford is robust. He is a man. And they gave us a very
Get into this.
God, he's very upset.
It was the wrong cast. But he's not wrong. That's the thing.
I know
his
he's
points are
not.
so good. It's
But I
just
try
like,
not to
jeez.
get too critical of it. I just want to enjoy it.
That's
still
how I
wanna be.
am.
I still want to be a kid and be a fan of it.
I do too. But if you're going to serve me a poo-poo sandwich, I'm not going to tell you it tastes good.
That's how I am with Harry Potter. I don't want to read too much into it. I don't want to ruin it.
And by the way, when you're 5 foot 8 inches tall,
Jay's right there.
He's no, but he was constantly. You can see it in his body mannerisms. He was constantly trying to stretch his body out to look taller. You cannot be lazy and languid and sit in a chair drooped with your arms over the arms. If you're 5'8", you have to use all of your body height to try and stick out as a tall person. And he looked stiff. The whole movie, he looked like he was trying to be on his tiptoes. It was just a bad cast. I'm sorry. Alden Ehrenreich did the best he could. And I would have taken the job too. I mean, you can't blame him for wanting the money, the paycheck, but it was just a bad cast.
I never remember that dude from any other movie.
He was in a few other things. Here's the thing: I heard that they're really going to start shoving these TV series down our throats. With there's going to be a Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
series.
Did you like the play on Lando? Because he's shorter than
Danny Glover.
Yeah, he's shorter than
I won't get into
Billy Williams.
I thought he
Billy
did.
D. Williams.
Well, so's Alden Ehrenreich than Harrison Ford.
Right.
They're
That's
both
what I'm saying.
they're both diminutive people, but when they stand next to each other, the height's the same. I think Harrison Ford's an inch taller than Billy D. Williams. He's like 6'1", 6 foot. So these two guys are small, but Glover did a great job. He looked like a young Lando Calrissian. I didn't agree with the life choices they gave him. I won't even get in on the radio show, but he was good. So if they're going to bring him back as a TV series, and I think they're going to bring Alden Ehrenreich back as Han Solo.
Yeah, they are.
You'll see him in those,
Yeah, there'll be
in those
another.
shows. Yeah.
I think there's going to be a Lando movie though. I don't think it's going to be a show.
Well, I'll go see it. I love Star Wars. I'll see everything they kick out, but I'll be the first to say, nah, it didn't feel good.
There you go, Jay, on your birthday.
There you go. And there's our Mandalorian talk. I love it. Yeah, Brad on a Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread just brought up something because we're talking about TV that Peacock, the NBC thing, bought the rights to the WWE network, which I'm not going to be upset about because now with it's just going to transfer over in March and I can watch AP Bio and Saved by the Bell, a new series, without having to add another subscription.
A public service announcement,
keep my WWE
out
going
there.
on.
If you own a car, and if you leave the window down
Oh no!
when it snows, that's what will happen to your car.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that happened to Chelsea.
No.
Oh.
Chelsea's got some explaining to do, or whatever you want to call that.
How many of the original cast is going to be in the new Saved by the Bell?
Well, Jay's in it. We already got a picture of him.
Yeah, Zach, Jesse Spano, Zach's in it. Tiffany Amber Thiessen's in it, and Mario Lopez is in it. I think Lark Voorhees is coming into.
Screech? They're not letting
No,
that
he's not in.
spaz in it.
I think Lark Voorhees.
Well, Screech is
in it.
busy now.
He's in jail, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he just got
I thought
arrested.
it was Justin Timberlake. I thought he was Screech.
No, but they're all in it. Those four are in it. I
If you
think
look at
that's it.
pictures of Justin Timberlake when he was in NSYNC, he's a spitting image of Shriek. Or Screech, which blows my mind.
I like it, Shriek.
Shriek.
Yeah, like Shriek, yeah.
Which shows you how much the media can make a person be goofy and ugly or sexy. You know, but face to face, they look exactly the same.
I don't know about that, but Dustin Diamond didn't really have the.
Go back
yeah,
and
if
look
you can
at a
sing,
picture
though,
of
it's gonna
Justin
be good.
Timberlake when he was in NSYNC
Yeah.
with the curly hair. Here's my question for you: who's your biggest crush in Saved by the Bell?
Oh.
Well,
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. I
It
wanted to
was.
answer
It
right
was
away.
Jessie at first. That's
Really?
the tall one. Yeah.
I didn't like her.
Oh, I totally did.
My honest answer: all three.
Yeah.
I mean, they were cuties.
I don't know. I had something for Lark Voorhees.
Yep.
She looked like someone that was a year older than me in high school, and I was like, oh man.
Didn't she end up going down a rabbit hole?
Yeah, she'll be on there now. She has like too much plastic surgery or whatever else. But Tiffany Amber Thiessen is classic. I mean, she's just no matter what. But yeah, there was a girl that was a year older than me in high school that looked like her, and I was like, oh man, she looks like Lark Voorhees. She looks like Lisa Turtle. But if you go by when you say like the original cast, like it's just Zach, because the original cast was in Indiana. And then after it didn't make it, that show NBC like made it into a Saturday morning show, and they moved him to California. Originally, it was called Armis Bliss.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But Dustin Diamond will not be in this one.
No. And then someone said that he's sick or whatever else. And then I do remember that Leah Remini was on there. That was the summertime episode. Yeah. So that's T-Roy's lady, Leah Remini.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
she was on Saved by the Bell in the summertime when they worked at the.
She's fine as wine, dude.
Yeah.
Leah Remini.
Yeah.
Can you sing the intro song for us?
I'm not going to do that, but I could, yeah.
All right.
If I had gunned ahead, I could, trust me, but I'm not going to do it right now.
What do you mean?
I'm not
We
doing
have 18
it.
minutes left.
No, I'm not doing it. Well, we're going to take a break, but we have
I
more
think
things
you
to talk
should do
about.
it.
Where else I don't want to do it, so
Why not?
I'd rather do the Super Bowl Shuffle. I'm not going to do the Saved by the Bell intro theme.
I
no.
think you should still
Well,
do Saved by
this
the
isn't,
Bell.
again,
and
this isn't
Super Bowl Shuffle.
karaoke or anything like that.
Why
but
not?
it's
Why
just
were you
not.
drinking beer from Jimmy?
Yeah. Yeah. But I do. There are certain things that make me laugh about that show, like when AC Slater was a wrestler and he wrestled on a 4x4 mat after like cooking a cake, and he got to wear jewelry while doing it and just did a 5-point toss to stick the guy. Like, it's the most ridiculous. It's the only time they actually showed sports in that entire thing.
All right, I'm gonna put your ego on the line.
Oh, they did do a wheelchair basketball one time too.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna put your ego on the line.
Sure.
I think you guys are. No, I think Mario Lopez is my age. Isn't he almost 50?
I don't know. Yeah, I would assume so.
That guy's a vampire. All right,
Yeah, he's got some plastic surgery done too.
He just hasn't aged. All right,
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
Jay Foster.
Sure.
You at the age of what are you?
45.
45, and
Yep.
Mario Lopez at the age of 49.
Yep.
You guys have to go out and wrestle.
Sure.
Can you beat him?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, I got money on Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. He has no wrestling background whatsoever outside of that. He once was recruited by the University of Iowa on the show. That was about it. So, and there was, yeah.
I want to try and make
That
this
had to
happen.
make you really happy too when you're watching the show. Didn't
Yeah, and then there was like this weird like rumor in the 90s that like we didn't know it, but Mark Paul Gossier, the guy who plays Zach Morris, like this was a legitimate rumor that we didn't know it, but he was a really good football player, and he was coming to the University of Iowa to play football, like the whole time. Like it was the strangest rumor. Like everyone's like, they're gonna sign him to a scholarship. Like he's a really good football player. No one knew it. I'm like, all right, whatever. So
I'm gonna try and make that happen.
What?
You and Mario Lopez.
I would like to meet Zach Morris in real life. I think he'd be a cool hang. Yeah.
He turned out to do a lot of stuff in acting.
If I can get him on the show, will you wrestle him right here in the?
No, I'm not wrestling Mark Paul Gossier, and he's not going to be on the show either.
Mario Lopez.
Oh, Mario Lopez. Yeah, I'd beat him. Honestly, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I'd film that. There's no way he would ever come close to.
He looks like he's in great shape.
He came here for one of the Half-Life promotions one year. He was the keynote.
Did he do like the first Dancing with the Stars? QC Stars Dancing with the Stars
I don't know
thing?
if it was dancing, but it was like something where everybody it went down to was when they first opened up that waterfront center in Bettendorf.
The Martini Shake Off.
No, it wasn't a shake off. It was different than that.
Oh.
But there was some stuff going on. It might have been a Dancing with the Stars. I don't remember.
I think that's what it was, but it had.
But either way, he was the MC of the thing.
Yeah, they do.
So he's been here, Jay. You had your chance.
Before
to
we
pin
go
him.
to break, do you remember that story the boss man used to tell us about down at Max and Hugh Jackman, Kevin Costner, and hold on a second, it's the guy from
Richard Marx.
Richard Marx. They're down at Max.
Yeah.
And before we go to break, just tell the story. So they're down there in the bartender. It's like a Monday night. Hugh Jackman's got something going on. He's friends with Kevin Costner, and apparently they're friends with Richard Marx.
About what year is this?
This is, I mean, had to be
Late
7
90s.
years ago. Was it late 90s?
Sounded to me
No,
like it was late 90s.
I think it's like in the aughts, because now we're saying that now. It's
late aughts.
yeah. So they're down at Max. It's like a Monday night, random whatever else, and then the bartender's like, "Hey, you're Hugh Jackman." He's like, "Yeah, hi." Yeah. And he's like, "And you're Kevin Costner." He's, yeah. And then out of nowhere, Richard Marx is like, "Yeah, and I'm Richard Marx." And the bartender goes, "No, you're not." And Richard Marx goes, "Why would I lie about who I am? Like, I know I'm not as famous as these two guys." The bartender's like, "No, you're not. You're not Richard Marx. You're hanging
Don't
out
mean nothing. Ba, ba, ba. All you do is start singing.
Like, the best part of the story is Richard Marx like knows his like popularity. He's like, "Why would I lie about being me?" Like,
Richard Marx.
Yeah. And then I think it had to be because it was on Facebook, and Facebook didn't really hit around here until about 2008. So
I dated a girl who Lewis sister. She goes, "Oh, it's Karl Marx," and I go,
Oh,
That's
no.
when you
I go,
break
"That's
out.
the dude that's communist." No, it's not. It's Richard Marx.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us. We're local.
The Rock says he's gonna make your Rudy Poo candy ass famous.
You like that? You like that?
Give me a hell yeah! I said, give me a hell yeah!
This is Brian Rothenberger, radio guy for the Quad City Storm. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Sports bettors, are you ready? You can now experience Iowa's premium sportsbook from the comfort of your own home. Download the PointsBet app now and use code Iowa2K to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. When you bet with PointsBet, you get faster bets, faster withdrawals, and faster rewards at your fingertips. All on an easy-to-use app rated #1 on Trustpilot. See for yourself why bettors are calling PointsBet innovative, lightning quick, and the reason they've ditched the other books. Plus, PointsBet's Refer a Friend program is now easier than ever. Refer a friend to PointsBet, and you both get $100 in free bets. Share with your friends the faster, easier way to bet. Download the app now to experience Iowa's premium sportsbook for yourself. And don't forget to sign up with code Iowa2K to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. What do you have to lose? So, are you ready? Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
I'm Ari Wolf with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. With Super Bowl 55 now set, the preparations have begun. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid says he's already started watching Buccaneers game film, and he believes Tom Brady is playing better than ever.
He's playing at an extremely high level, and for somebody his age, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable for a 25-year-old to be doing what he's doing, let alone a 43-year-old.
Reid also confirmed that starting left tackle Eric Fisher will miss the Super Bowl after tearing his Achilles in the AFC title game. In the meantime, in Tampa, Bucs head coach Bruce Arians said Monday he likes where his team is at mentally.
And when you get committed to a cause, and our cause is to put rings on our fingers, you do everything you can to reach that goal.
In other news, The Texans have scheduled a second interview Tuesday with Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier for their head coaching position. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Guys over 40, listen up. Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC, is offering a complimentary bottle to all men in America. Here's legendary pro baseball player Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt.
When I hit 40, I started feeling sluggish. I had less drive. It was harder to stay in shape. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. So I got back into the game with Nugenix. With Nugenix, I feel like I'm still in my prime. There's a reason Nugenix has been the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC for years. It works. If you want to get back in the game and get your edge back, you need Nugenix. You can get a complimentary bottle. All you have to do is send them a text. And guys, take it from me. She'll like it too.
Text YOUTH to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. But Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text YOUTH to 42424 right now. Text YOUTH to 42424. That's YOUTH to 42424.
SMS Group Incorporated is a world leader in maintenance services for the steel industry. They are now hiring at their facility in Muscatine. Jobs include machinist, CNC machinist programmer, quality inspector, and mechanic and millwright. SMS Group is proud to offer competitive benefits package for all eligible full-time employees, including health, dental, vision, life insurance, vacations, paid time off, 401k plans, and tuition reimbursement. Join their team today by applying at sms-group.us/careers or in person at their location just outside of Bluegrass.
The Max Kellerman Show. Like, who was that? Greeny, who said the time to say about personal pride was weeks ago? I mean, I understand what he's saying. He's not wrong. It's fine, but I don't think it would have made a difference. Keyshawn saying they started Foles and it's no good. I disagree. The issue is one thing with Chicago. They have no offensive line, period. That's the whole problem. No offensive line. They have a thin receiving core, it's true, but no offensive line. If I had to design a football team, and I have like 10 spots where I can put all my resources, right? Where am I going to put all my resources? Like, what 10 spots do I want covered out of a roster of 50, right? I want a stud quarterback, of course, everyone does. My next 5 spots will be stud offensive linemen.
The Max Kellerman Show. Weekdays at 2 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
We always use drive-through windows for fast food and banking. Now the Quad Cities has drive-through taxes with AmeriFile. Don't let COVID delay your tax refund this year. For the safest way to get your taxes done, use AmeriFile's drive-through tax service in Moline and Davenport. Stay safe in your car. Drop your tax stuff off, and your taxes are prepared contact-free. Go to AmeriFile.com or call AmeriFile 762-8087.
Get the latest NFL news on your phone. Download our app today and never miss a thing. From the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Don't Have Such a Local on AM 1170.
During the break, Jimmy asked, is there anything going on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread, and just know more about like if Jay would, how I would do in a wrestling match against Slater. And then I said, Eddie, you were doing great. The memes that you made, everything else. And he said, Slater and Screech beat T-Roy and Jay in any sport. And I just wrote back, that's BS. And T-Roy wrote F you or whatever. I was like, there's no way. Screech isn't doing anything at all, and I'm not afraid of Slater. Yeah. I just really wasn't. So,
yeah.
But hey, it's always good to think. It's good to recklessly speculate how you would do against Bayside's finest.
What if you had to wrestle Tiffany Amber Thiessen?
I would let it go to overtime.
You would?
Mm-hmm.
Of course you would.
Yep. She would be in the match the entire time.
I'm not making comments right now.
Be prepared for 7.5 minutes because we're going into double OT.
I think she pins me with a face squat.
A taco touchdown.
Oh, you said that.
So we may not, depending on if we have another snowstorm and Davenport Community School District decides to shut down, we may not be able to talk to Jimmy again until.
Well, hey, real quick though, was she hotter in Saved by the Bell or in 90210?
90210. Valerie was legit the entire time through.
Well, yeah, because we grew.
So did she.
We as people grew, and in 90210 she's a woman, and Saved by the Bell she's a teenage kid. So yeah,
that's how I feel about Zac Efron.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that.
Yeah, do you?
Well, the other thing,
He's a hottie.
There's obviously loopholes. I mean, there's holes in all plot storylines or whatever else. The idea that she broke up with Zach to date a college guy, and she's still like 17 or 16, and no one has a problem with this in her family. But oh well.
Well, it's a TV show, huh?
I guess
Zac Efron's a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
We watched for the first time. My wife and I watched the new Baywatch movie with The Rock.
Yeah,
it's a great movie. It was hilarious. That guy. He even said in an interview he never wants to do that again. He was in such good shape. Zac Efron, he took a year and just didn't do anything but eat perfect and work out hard every single day. And
well, he's doing some of that now. He's still on that thing. He's traveling around. He has this show on something.
It
where
is
it's
so
him
good.
and some other dude. The dude's quite
it's
a bit
on
older.
Netflix.
Yeah, and they just go around and look at weird stuff.
That's
yeah,
not
I
what
saw
it
it,
is.
Jay.
I can't. Why can't I remember the name of it? It's a
Hey,
really,
that
really
new
good show.
meme of yours is the bomb, by the way. It's Jay standing next to Slater.
Slater gets the hand raised.
That was fast, man.
Yeah, I know.
He's
that
the
was
meme maker,
fast.
dude. He doesn't play around.
It's terrible. So how do you feel about this Super Bowl? And we've only got like 4 minutes to sum this up. How do you feel about the Chiefs versus Tampa Bay?
Well, like we talked about before, no team has ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row. I think if there's ever a team that's prepped to do it, it's Kansas City Chiefs. I'm a big Chiefs fan. I hope they win. But I'm not as confident as I would like to be for 2 reasons. Number one, I dogged Tom Brady on my top 10 list, but he's a winner. He's got Gronk. He's got a great arsenal, and plus they're playing in Tampa. Now people say, "Well, it's not that big of a home field advantage."
It's a huge advantage.
Well, crap. These players know the streets, the hotels. They live there. They know how to get to the stadium easier. There's a lot of comfort there. So because of Brady and because it's in Tampa, I think it's going to be a closer game than what everybody thinks, but I still think the Chiefs will pull it out.
I need to follow up on this, and I don't know if it's this Friday or the Friday before, but because of COVID restrictions, and this is something that really needs to be looked into. Kansas City can only come in on a Friday, and I don't know if it's this Friday and they're there all week, or if it's the Friday before the Super Bowl and they're not having like the Super Bowl week media thing like they used to. If it's a Friday before the Super Bowl, this is a huge deal.
Who?
Kansas City.
I'm confused.
Well, they're only going to get there 48 hours before game time.
Here we go. Here, I have an article right now by
You would
CBS
think they
Sports.
need to be there like 2 weeks in advance so they can freaking quarantine.
Hold on. Sorry to do this on the air, and I know we got only a few minutes. According to ESPN.com, the Chiefs won't be flying to Tampa until the day before the game.
Are you kidding me?
The Chiefs will be landing in Florida February 6th, just one day before they play the Buccaneers. Nope. I'm
BS.
sorry. That's bad.
Yeah.
That's really not good.
Yeah. What now? Say it again.
So there's no media week. There's like we're used to. Remember when when we dreamed about this, we're like, hey, maybe there'd be a sponsor that will pay for us to go down to the Super Bowl, right? Because media week is all week long. Remember we had the comedian in. He's like, yeah, I texted him this morning, see if you want to come on. There is no like media week where you have whatever else. The Chiefs are planning to fly in on February 6th, the day before the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It's definitely not an
That's not
it's not
good.
an advantage. That's for
really
sure.
not good.
I wonder why they're doing that.
I'd be sleeping the whole time.
The reason is that they allow the Chiefs to keep the testing routine they've been following all season to prevent the spread of COVID-19. If the Chiefs would fly down a week early like they did last year, they would have been in a new city and likely would have to run into hundreds of strangers, which isn't something we want to deal with during the pandemic. You can quarantine.
Stay in the freaking hotel room. God, I don't know.
That's really, really crazy, and Media Week's not going to be the same. So, anyway, we're getting close to the end of the show. Jimmy, thank you so much for reaching out to me this morning. I knew once I got the text, I knew it was going to be a fun show. You guys did great. It was fun with you two going back and forth on your top tens. It makes it very easy for me to just sit here and listen to you two and have a good time and hear you guys drop some names that even I wouldn't even come up with because you guys have vast knowledge of sports. So
they're both like encyclopedias, I swear.
Mucho gracias.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Do any of you have the Buccaneers winning?
I do.
You do?
I think I do now too.
Yeah.
I think that. Well,
I don't want them
I'll
to
flip.
win.
Trust me, I'll flip 17 different times. I will, and I have no idea. I'll care more about prop bets than I care. I'll care more about the national anthem over under than like. But I will flip back and forth 17 times before we get to the Super Bowl. But I do not like that they're traveling in like that, and Tampa Bay gets to be and sleep in their own beds and everything. But I don't know how big of a thing that is. Like I said, got to reach out to Pat. All right. Jimmy, thank you so much.
Hey, thank
Again,
you.
I appreciate
My
the
pleasure.
text, and I appreciate you thinking about me on your day off. You could have been, just hanging out. T-Roy?
Yes, sir.
Good job by you. Coral?
Try.
Coral Lee?
Yeah, and don't call me that.
Yeah,
You're the
Coral
best.
Lee.
All right.
Look
See you guys tomorrow.
at me, I'm
ESPN
Coral Lee.
Stay
1170
safe and
app
sanitized,
today.
Quad Cities.
Never miss a thing. From the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170, KBOB Davenport.